Welcome to Style Esports, ladies and gentlemen. It is myself, Dia, joined by the wonderful Shinkari for what viewers are calling the rematch of the century, Cosmic Remix versus Flash Engage. These two teams have faced up against each other just 7 days prior, and it was Cosmic Remix that walked away with the win. You think things will change tonight, Shinkari?
Well, I sure hope so. I did see Flash Engage put up a very good fight, especially in games two and three of their previous matchup. So I'm excited to see how these two come together. They did play other teams throughout the day. I believe Cosmic Remix came up against Mythic Esports, and Flash Engage went up against Sand Shadows. Cosmic Remix was able to win their game, but Flash Engage was not. They lost an 0-2. So both these teams are looking for a bit of revenge after a week of not being able to play against, after a few days of not being able to play against each other.
Yeah, and it's curious to see they go straight for the throat as well. They come right back to fight each other one more time. You've got to wonder who initiated that one. Is it beaten up, punching down, or is it that salty run back from Flash Engage? We have jumped into the picks and bans, though. We're in the pro draft with Anivia, Rel, and Seraphine taken away by Cosmic Remix.
Yeah, a couple of Anivia is definitely a targeted ban at Roadhouse here. Roadhouse plays a lot of, and I would say that's a targeted ban at Roadhouse. Had Roadhouse actually been in this team composition, and I remember saying that, and I remember taking notes, and then I looked over at the players playing the game, and then I remembered that Anivia is not there. Or Roadhouse is not there, so awkward. Eesh. It is just going to be a Nivea band out here. Just once again, there's a very powerful pick regardless. She did receive a few nerfs in 11.2 or 3, I believe. But I believe that they just see as just a strong lane pusher, and they don't want that on the table.
Yeah, a very potent pick nonetheless, and very good at controlling team fights. The Cosmic Remix evidently want to literally and figuratively bust open with the Gragas pick very early on, a safe pickup. Shen responded to on the other side, though also a relatively neutral lane. So at least early on in the draft, we're playing close to the chest right now. Flash Engage are going to have to pick up a second champion, though, and I wonder if we see Senna, Tom, Kench prioritize this draft, because it's the bot lane that is still there, that is still very strong.
Yeah, we did see Flash Engage at least pick it up in their game against Sand Shadows at least once. They didn't really get a whole lot of success out of it, but they did at least try Lulu being the one picked up, though.
Lulu seems like a pickup that is more foreshadowing for things to come. Tristana Maokai, Cosmic Remix will respond to, that is definitely a whole lot of instant engage.
Yeah, for sure. And Ashe being the hover here, definitely a very good pick, especially with a lot of the focus being towards attack speed champions, especially with some nerfs here and there, and also very good with Lulu. So looks like the bot lane is going to be picked up by Flash Engage here, and maybe the bot lane for Cosmic Remix as well.
Now, a powerful duo for both lanes here, but is it one that will win you the game? Ashe, Lulu, not really standing out as that to me.
Yeah, it's interesting. I definitely like the Lulu pick, just for myself. I'm a big Enchanters player, so I love playing Lulu. She fits on a bunch of team compositions. She turns champions that aren't normally tanks into tanks. And so being able to buff your own team as well is really good, I would say, in this meta, especially with the strength of Moonstone Renewer and also Staff of Flowing Waters.
There's a lot of people here that won't go down. Ryze and Kassadin have been taken away by Flash Engage, so I'm curious to see what they're looking for in the mid lane. Maybe just a straight up counter pick, as they will lock in Skarner of all things. Still a very utility heavy composition that doesn't have that hyper carry to pull it all together.
Yeah, some folks will see Ashe as kind of like a late game character, but she does have a lot of utility in of herself. Obviously, the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, she has a lot of slows built into her kit, but she doesn't really have as much damage as, say, a Jinx or a Vayne in order to follow it up. So maybe they're trying to put the damage into the mid lane here with this last pick.
We got about 10 seconds to figure out what it's going to be. Tristana is the confirmed mid laner for Cosmic Remix, so no matter who it is, it'll be a lot of damage, a lot of kill potential they're going into. And Victor, of all things, is going to be somebody who can bring that late game damage. Still leaves a lot of question marks for me, especially about the early game.
Yeah, and And I have to agree with that as well. There seems to be not a champion here that excels in these early 1 to 6 levels, and then once the mid game starts happening, once everyone starts getting their ultimates online, it seems that Flash Engage, that's the turning point for them. But they need to get there first. We have Olaf, we have Maokai and Gragas, all these characters that have lots of damage and some decent utility in this early game, and can compare it to a very ultimate heavy Flash Engage comp. This is going to be an interesting first few levels, to say the least.
What I do like here is that at the very least, well, we're seeing a lot of playing it safe on the side of Flash Engage, drafting a lot of neutralization, holding back, picking the Hyperscaler and Victor. On the side of Cosmic Remix, we have something that fits with the playstyle that we've seen succeed for this team time and time again, and it's a comp centered around Linola.
Mm-hmm. I know is a very, very good player. A lot of the times he's playing a lot more playmaking junglers. He's been playing a lot of Viego in solo queue, but he's also been playing a lot of Hecarim in the games where I've casted him, at least. So seeing him on the Olaf is a little interesting, especially considering the amount of nerfs that Olaf has received with regards to his itemization and also his kit regardless. So and also with the nerfs to jungle camps as well, power farmers are not as good in the current meta as they were a while ago. So this Olaf pick is definitely a little interesting, but definitely gives some early ganking power.
Certainly does, and into things like Ashe, Lulu that don't have a whole lot of escape ability early on, it could be really devastating when coupled with the CC that comes from multiple lanes. I'm looking especially at things like the top lane. A lot of times we will see Linola go for that very quick buff, camp buff into top gank clear that can be really devastating. In this case, Flash Engage do have the Shen, and I think that across every single lane, we should be looking for people to be playing in a very weak side way to try and avoid falling to that early pressure.
Yeah. I wouldn't say buff gank is what Olaf is going to be doing. Maybe we'll see like a full clear before we even see a gank. It'll be interesting to see the least. I'm not completely convinced by a level 2 or a level 2 gank from an Olaf, especially against a Shen in the top lane who has the ability to dodge auto attacks. So, which is a lot of Olaf's damage. So it'll be interesting to see. I do expect Olaf to be a very good pick against a lot of these immobile characters like the Skarner, like the Lulu, Ashe, Victor. A lot of these characters don't have abilities that are dashes, blinks, jumps, however the case, but it should be interesting to say the least.
Now, whatever we say, we've talked quite a bit about Cosmic Remix. We're looking a lot at this Olaf. Of course, there's a lot of explosive potential in the mid lane, but we haven't had the chance to talk about Flash Engage just yet. What, if anything, are we expecting from this composition before they hit the point where their hyperscalers really hit the table?
I'm expecting to see in the early levels just to play relatively safe. And then once level 6 happens, I expect them to start like trying to push for objectives, because Skarner and Shen together, Skarner gives a lot of stats around the neutral objectives, especially around Dragon and around Scuttle the Scuttle Crab, Shelly, and Baron as well. So Skarner being able to pressure around these objectives and having Shen as an insurance policy, as well as backup from very powerful ultimates like Lulu and Ashe, I expect them to see them fighting around these objectives around level 6 and forward, and trying to use that advantage to carry them into the late game.
All right, well, it's going to take until level 6 for Flash Engage, as you illustrate, to fully come online to really start putting the pedal to the metal. Before then, it is Cosmic Remix who have the run of the Rift. We'll see if they can really press that advantage, make it worth their time, or whether Flash Engage will have the free scaling to take them into that mid game where we expect them to only get better from there. It's going to be tense. It's going to be a game to watch, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a few minutes on Style Esports Season 6, Cosmic Remix versus Flash Engage. Welcome back, ladies and gents, to the rematch of the century. It is myself, Dia, joined by Shinkari for Cosmic Remix versus Flash Engaged. Both teams do hit the rift, both looking like they're going for that very early 5-man spread. Nobody wanted to get too much action going too soon, although, as we've alluded to earlier, that might not be in the best interest of Cosmic Remix.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like Cosmic Remix has a particularly good level 1, so it doesn't seem like either of these teams do, but they're just going to fight for some early wards here, which is just going to back and forth. FF, please, this is not where you want to be, buddy. Huh? You guess the word anyway.
Takes a little bit of damage for it, but won't really have too much information there. Both wards going to spot out any immediate counter jungling. I want to say more so the one from FF, please, that's been placed in the river. But it is a very how should we say? How do I want to put this? It's a very straightforward start that isn't going to give anybody too much data.
Right. Right off the bat, Olaf is going to start at his red buff, pretty standard. Maokai looking for some deeper wards here. It looks like he's able to get it. What did he do? Oh, he threw a sapling over the wall.
It's the worst. It's the worst, dude.
Oh, man. I guess just to count out, like, maybe... Oh, yeah. So it was to see if they were trying to fake the blue buff start. That's interesting. Okay. I think they might have gotten that information, so they do know where Skarner is. They do know what he's starting, and they do know his path. So that is some pretty big information here for Cosmic Remix over Flash Engage.
Both level 2s both hit in the mid lane. Lotus feeling a little bit more confident with his. We talked about this when we were loading in. You disrespect Tristana, she can and will kill you. Nightsaw forced to flash quite early.
Yeah, and that's really, really huge. Like, CX Lotus didn't have to spend a whole lot of resources in order to get that flash there, so definitely look for Olaf to be getting towards this mid here. We already see some aggression in the bot lane here.
Not even talking about what we're seeing on screen right now, that something terrible has happened. FF has had to reset after 2 camps right now.
Yeah. It was a huge... He nearly died to his red buff and had to go back. Oh no, CX Lotus.
He's just not there in the mid lane to counter gank right now. There's no jungle pressure. Even if Cosmic Remix don't know it, setting Skarner behind like this is going to be huge for a jungler that wants to get to level 6 right now. Has just hit the rift one more time, as we're going to continue to see the trades going on in all lanes.
Yeah, and this is typically what a range to melee matchup is usually like when in the mid lane right here. Victor, even though I know Victor is a ranged champion, when in comparison to Tristana, he's a lot shorter range, so Tristana can use that range to her advantage on a much more often. And then on top of that, she's also AD, so she has a lot more advantages earlier because a lot of her damage comes from auto attacks, not from abilities.
Cosmic Remix land some nice wards near the Raptor Pit and also get to know exactly where FF is right now, just as Linola finishes up the clear. We should see a little bit of reined-in aggression in the mid lane, which, as you were talking about, you've got the range advantage. You can afford to sit back, play a little bit more safe, but that full clear that you were talking about is exactly what Linola has gone for. It is the very standard, no early sort of cheese Olaf clear that now gets to turn into the Raptor camp off the back of the vision that Lotus has set up.
Yeah, this is actually pretty big. By taking up this lead early, by taking up this camp, he denies a lot of experience from Skarner, who, once again, we talked about this very briefly. We want to see Flash Engage hit level 6. And if you are a champion like Skarner, who's pretty dependent on his ultimate, then he's going to have just that much harder time getting to this mid-game advantage.
Oh, he spotted out too. Linola maybe going to try and catch Skarner over here. Has the backup of Koyoko.
Yeah,
we'll spot him out, but Lotus is here as well. Has the bombs, and FF, you gotta flash, my man. You can't stay here. Flash is under his own tower, keeps himself safe for now. Cosmic Remix do consider the dive, but will end up taking the summoner instead.
Yeah, ooh, Gambit might have also bought up a little bit more than he can chew as well.
Realizes that, respectfully backs off, taking half of his HP with him.
Oh no, Gambit, you got it. Let the Krug go, buddy. Come on.
It's actually doing quite a bit of damage to Linola, who does still have the smite to stay healthy, so no kill threat just there. Even though it looks like things are getting down to the wire, Gambit is costing himself quite a bit right now.
Yeah, oh, CX Lotus in the mid lane, though.
This is going to be constant, but this is exactly why the Tristana mid is the thing. Just like, oh, do you want to die? Do you want to die? Oh, no, okay.
Yeah, and that was very well played by Cosmic Remix there. What was very good was that they had top priority and they had vision of Skarner in his own jungle. And since Tristana is putting immense amount of pressure on the Victor, they also had mid priority as well. So they were free to roam into Flash Engage's jungle and pick up that kill there. And it looks like Flash Engage takes this opportunity to also grab Dragon.
Yeah, even with the vision that Cosmic Remix has, they get themselves the summoner, but do end up losing as Linola is forced to reset right after that, staying quite a long time in that top lane, dueling it out with Gambit.
Once again, that's just more time that you're not spending in the bottom lane, but it's a lot of damage in the top lane here.
Very low on mana is Kyoko as well. Am I okay to say Kyoko? There's so many K's and O's here. Am I doing something wrong?
Yeah, I mean, I went with Kyoko as well. Kyoko is
Kyoko?
Yeah, Kyoko. Maybe, I don't know. I just say Kyoko.
Well, you know what? I'll probably go back and forth with it for a little bit of fun later. But for right now, we'll stick with it. Is relegated to under tower right now though, so there's actually no need to be talking about him too much because until the reset comes in, Gragas isn't really going to be doing a whole lot.
Yeah, with barely any mana, this Gragas is just hoping to be able to throw a barrel to pick up minions. And like maybe he'll have, I think he has mana now that he's leveled up. Yeah, he has enough for a body slam.
Goes for the body bump. Shadow Dash will get Gambit out of danger as Linola pops up here. It isn't actually enough though. You've just frozen the wave against Kyoko and now he's going to have to teleport back. More trades in the mid lane are going to still not go in the favor of this Victor, but Nightsaw has been sustaining this one up pretty well.
Yeah, and this is pretty much what I expect to see from Tristana for basically the rest of the game. You already touched on it, but like Tristana is going to want to give her... She is, especially with the Hail of Blades, very sneakily bursty. So she's able to jump in, throw out the bomb onto the target, get the 3 autos that she needs very quickly, and then be able to leave that engagement and be able to pretty safely get away from Victor as well, as he can't like match that amount of burst damage that early on. If he stays within auto attack range, he might certainly die.
It's been the shove as well. Right now, has been forced to return to the mid lane, giving FF Please and Nightsaw a first rotation, this time onto the Rift Herald, something they didn't have before, but once again, Flash Engage very well capitalizing on these objectives, and the team is starting to ding 6 right now. This is what we mentioned as the time that they could start to come online, and sort of the last couple minutes here for Cosmic Remix to try and make a play before Flash Engage just become a better team comp.
Yeah, and this is also very interesting because we've seen a lot of priority go towards Cosmic Remix in these lanes, but for like a very brief moment, Flash Engage was able to get priority in the mid and top, as we might have a gank in the mid? No. Flash Engage was able to get priority in the top and mid. They were able to translate that into a neutral objective, as FF Please might be caught out here.
That should be a dead Skarner. There's no flash on this guy. One more auto would do it, but the shield... Oh, the Buster Shot secures the first blood just barely through the shield from the Skarner. Do pick up that single kill. And we talked about the last few minutes for Cosmic Remix to get ahead. They've certainly found their extra 400 gold booster pack right here.
Yeah, and this is what Cosmic Remix definitely wants to make sure that they can fight on these objectives just as well as Flash Engage can. And the amount of damage that they have, it's going to be pretty contingent on their tanks to like set up the damage dealers for these high power engagements, and they definitely feels like they have. Olaf waiting on the bottom side here and looking for an engage, but I don't know if he'll be able to find it. Skarner waiting on the wings though. They know he's there, pinging him out.
I wonder if we see some sort of counter gank here. Good ward over the wall will be a sacrificial 30 gold, but it saves a life. So is there really a cost to that, my friend? Lotus is going to get a plate in the mid lane as well. Plate's going pretty well in favor, at least in the mid lane. Even if kills haven't so far. Nightsaw has been playing that, as we say, pretty well neutralizing.
Ooh, we might have a bit of the gank in the mid lane here.
Gravity Well goes down, but so does Ragnarok, and Nightsaw flashes under the tower to keep himself well and healthy, although healthy might be a bit of an exaggeration given the sub 500 HP that he did dip down to. Now, though, might just have to reset before this drag, and that is the biggest thing.
Yeah, this Victor has been just taking so much punishment from the Tristana. And that's why I was kind of like surprised that he was able to get some mid lane priority and they were able to pick up Shelly. So this Victor is doing the best with a pretty poor situation. So I gotta hand it to the Victor, at least for this. He did a good job of avoiding that gank there, but his flash is down once again.
That was a crazy teleport into the blue side jungle from Lotus. We'll see if he can pick up a kill for it. Nobody actually knows from Flash Engage that Lotus is around here, so he's just gonna walk in. His Nightsaw does pop into the Gravity Well and gets stunned. It might be able to finish him off. The arrow connects, the Buster Shot doesn't do enough damage, and Shen arrives to pick up Lotus in the mid lane. Lenola now can't fight their way around the Shen, but can flash forward onto Nightsaw, almost finishing off. The Wild Growth saves him, and now it is Nightsaw still trying to retreat, but somehow miraculously is alive. Flash Engager pulling this one out of nowhere. Kokio has to flash away, and Resilient is gonna pick up a kill on the back end of this as well. As Gold Shot goes down, flashing forward, looks for the slows on the Gragas, who should be able to get away, but that is still a very convincingly won team fight from Flash Engage. Man Tidy is fine. He's fine. I was nervous, but he's fine.
That was such a crazy team fight too. You mentioned the cheeky back end teleport there, and for all intents and purposes, I totally thought Nightsaw was dead, but we saw Enchanted Crystal Arrow, we saw Stand United, we saw Wild Growth, we saw Help Picks, we saw every single defensive utility that they could have used to keep that Victor alive, and also hands off to Nightsaw to really positioning absolutely perfectly throughout that team fight. It was really, really well played by him.
He is still alive. The only person who died here is FF Please. Despite the fact that we just saw a knockdown, drag out team fight, Flash Engage come out of that many kills the richer and get themselves the objective as well.
Yeah, and the only reason that they're behind at this point is just we see some gold advantages across the as Gambit might be caught out here.
Okay. Nice Shadow Dash, does get the taunt, but isn't going to buy a whole lot of space. Gravity Well is good, and FF Police is looking for the suppression. Ragnarok is going to stop that right in its tracks, though, as Olaf's got to get out of here. Lotus, on the other hand, has the opposite intention. Pops in, gets the explosive charge onto Nightsaw, takes him down, and Cosmic Remix do find their play just a minute later.
Yeah, that was an insanely good gank there, and it seems odd that Cosmic or Flash Engage hasn't been warding up their jungle more, seeing how much Cosmic Remix has been in there. Like, we saw them steal blue buff, we saw them teleport into their jungle earlier, we saw them invade and then nearly kill Skarner. Why aren't you putting more defensive wards in there? I mean, how many times are they going to invade your jungle before you place more defensive wards?
Yes. Woo, he's fine. The fun part of Tristana, ladies and gents, is getting to say absolutely not. I refuse to engage with you.
Mm-hmm. You would refuse to flash engage with me?
Oh my lord! You know what? He does. He does. I respect that. I applaud you, sir. Thank you.
It was a bit of a. It was a big of a, but I had to scrape for it. You know, but it was there.
It'll come later. I'm really excited for when FF Please really feel, you know, when they start a team fight for Flash Engage, because I feel like Flash Engage on Skarner is actually something that we might see several times in this series.
Yeah, for sure.
For right now, though, it will be a little bit of that vision control wrestled back by Flash Engage as they walk up into the river and clear out just a little bit. Still vision supremacy owned by Cosmic Remix, though. Much to do with the fact that, honestly, Gold Shot and Lenola have been putting in work. Sweepers and double control wards in the inventories of both of these people.
Yeah, and this is also to speak to the amount of priority that Cosmic Remix has been able to grab in these lanes in the early phases of the game. And I don't think a single lane for Flash Engage is currently winning. Like, just across the table, across the map, like, Cosmic Remix is constantly shoving into towers and being able to capitalize vision, neutral objectives in a lot of these cases. even though even though a lot of the neutral objectives has gone over to Flash Engage, a lot of them have been. Ooh, we might have a bit of a fight here, though.
All right, well, at least one ult misses, but with that, we do have a nice suppression. Bullet time finds 3, but doesn't actually find the deadly damage needed. Good interrupt by Kokio will end up stopping Gambit, but not canceling the shield that ends up saving Loch Ness Unicorn there. So Flash Engage do get a pick. They manage to walk away with that, and really not much else to be found.
Yeah, and I almost see the interrupt to Stand United as being somewhat of a boon. I mean, if Gambit had left lane right then and there, then he would have been at a massive disadvantage and been losing so much CS and advantage, and also losing a lot of damage onto his turret. So even even as long as Lulu got the shield and didn't die to Man Tidy, then that is a win for Flash Engage.
Going up against Resilient right now. Heal gets burned, but it ain't quite enough. Unfortunately, Man Tidy does manage to walk away with that kill. That was kind of a nail-biter.
Yeah, that was really close. Perhaps Ashe shouldn't have fought someone who already has a Kraken Slayer to their name. Perhaps if it just waited a little bit longer, perhaps we would have had a slightly different outcome there, as Resilient was putting out a lot of damage for himself.
Gold Shot doesn't have the flash right here. Doesn't have Hex Flash either, so just hanging around trying to buy a little bit of safety for his mid laner. Is going to spot the jungler. FF Please now in the 1v2. Makes it a 2v2 by flashing away. Loch Ness Unicorn finds him and has plenty of safe utility on his side, so will be the ultimate disengage right now as Cosmic Remix find themselves with priority on the dragon. How long will it last? Will Flash Engage put themselves on soul point here?
Yeah, I mean, this is the big question. I mean, Flash Engage has been playing so well around these dragons, and given the global pressure from Shen, they're able to contest these fairly well, but it looks like it might just be going over to Cosmic Remix here.
This is kind of the opposite of what we thought was going to happen, eh? With the Cosmic Remix being able to have early priority on objectives and Flash Engage contesting them after 6, they've turned a complete 180 here. Flash Engage, after the level 6, decide that they're not the ones that have the power to contest this.
Yeah, and a lot of this is just from the gold differences across the map. I mean, Tristana is just so far ahead right now, and it's really hard to fight back against a Tristana when all your tank line has is a bramble vest or some plated steel caps.
Certainly not going to feel too good. As Stand United comes off cooldown in just a few seconds, we might see another global play. Rift Herald does get started up by Cosmic Remix in the meantime, and the rotation up from the bot lane could be a lot of priority placed on that objective, maybe even mid lane turret, but FF Please, he's waiting in the wings, looking to see if he can find the smite steal. Will back away.
Yeah, it's just so hard to try to contest that objective with no priority in the mid lane. And especially with bot lane roaming all the way up here, as we see Maokai just returning back to the bottom lane, it's really hard to actually go in there commit when you can have a mid laner and also a Maokai come in and back them up and turn a 1v2 that is a little risky into a 1v4 into something that is a complete loss.
Good use of pressure right now. Lotus takes the tower in the face of Nightsaw and might now just take Nightsaw as well. Buster Shot buys him a little bit of space and actually manages to avoid the Shadow Dash using the QSS on top of it all. Doesn't actually have the safety required though and might just burn down here at the end. Gets chased under the tower but doesn't actually have the deadly damage. Kokio throws a bunch of burst damage in there, and Linola's here to clean it up, throwing axe after axe, chasing them down. Double body slam, finds one as Linola gets the kill here. Bullet time channeled in the reverse in the bot lane. Does find Resilient and Loch Ness, but doesn't actually have the deadly damage. Now Resilient chasing him down will get a double kill, as we expect one to be picked up in the top lane as well. Kokio takes another kill.
Well, you'll get it eventually. It's fine. That's why I just kind of stuck with Kyoko. Because I'm also watching a Let's Play of Danganronpa right now, and that's one of the main characters, so I just kind of latched on to that.
Yeah. You get to attach the thing. I wish I knew somebody. Whenever I see the name, I'm thinking of like Yoko Ono.
Yeah.
But that's good. Like, it doesn't have enough similarity.
Yeah. Yeah, you're missing the koi part. Ooh, taunted under turret doesn't seem to be doing a whole lot.
That might be one of the biggest things that I actually, now that you bring it up, miss about About being in quarantine. I haven't seen a koi fish in ages, dude.
Really?
You know when you used to go to those like little gardens or whatever, and there'd be a bunch of
Yeah.
koi fish just hanging around.
Yeah.
I want that back in my life.
That's that's so, you know, you are the first person I have spoken to who said I miss koi fish.
You kind of
You know?
yeah, like
I mean,
it's-
everyone's got to have their thing, right? I mean,
yeah.
I mean, you're just now going to be known to me as the koi fish person.
Please have that as my note in the Discord. Just, yeah.
Hold on, hold on. Let me get Carl
Mrs.
on the
Koi
horn.
Fish. Oh, Enchanted Crystalero
Ooh, that's a
finds
great
a Gale
arrow.
Force in a weird direction, and now that's definitely a misfortune. Not being so happy. Lotus also
Yeah.
surprisingly not being so happy in the side lane against Nightsaw, as he has managed to find not only the Seeker's arm guard that he picked up first, but now has completed the Ludens and is back pretty even in power level with this Tristana.
Oh yeah, for sure. The Luden's picking up any mythic item really is a huge swing. Like these items are so incredibly powerful, and Luden's Tempest is definitely a great item for Victor, being able to grant you that additional movement speed so that you can stay in that short range sweet spot that Victor likes to stay in whenever he's dueling.
Did have vision on Lotus as well, so didn't actually go down in the bot lane as Lotus was looking for that cheeky extra kill, but the kill score hasn't actually moved for Lotus in quite a while, which is something that normally wouldn't be a bad thing, especially if you're somebody like Nightsaw and the Victor. But you're on Tristana right now, and you're on a team comp that wants to play this early game. If your kill score isn't moving, neither are your chances of winning.
Right, and especially when lanes are being shoved in so hard, especially against Cosmic Remix, your gold income starts to be champions, and if it stops becoming champions, then these high gold purchases are going to take a long time to pick up, as maybe they found out Loch Ness Unicorn.
Dude, they do force the polymorph out and turn right back onto the dragon as FF is hanging around here. We might see a contest from Flash Engage, but not wanting to walk through Gold Shot, they will forfeit the second Ocean Dragon here. Fourth dragon of the game does go over to Cosmic Remix, and nobody's anywhere near Soul Point right now. It's going to be a knockdown, drag-out fight to get there if that's where this game goes.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the other thing that we kind of failed to talk about was that since Cosmic Remix does have 3 attack speed heavy champions, that actually taking these neutral objectives is going to be very, very easy for them. So they're saying, hey, like Flash Engage, if you want to be level 6 and fight around these neutral objectives with your Skarner, then we're going to fight you at every point, and even if you falter for a second, we are going to take them out of your grasp.
Imagine if, I mean, I'm glad that they have the Maokai for actually some semblance of being able to just lock somebody down. But imagine if they were the ones with the Lulu. Like, oh my god.
Oh yeah. Oh my lord. I honestly, Lulu and Olaf is really funny because I like whenever I'm playing Lulu and there's an Olaf on my team, I love wild growthing him while he has Ragnarok on. So he's just one very large angry lad.
Yeah, and there's nothing you can do at that point. He's got so much extra HP. It makes up for the lost resistances that Linola, interestingly enough, we hadn't touched on this either, hasn't been picking up this game. We've seen a lot of Turbo Chem Tanks from Olaf recently. We are not going back to the Turbo Chem Tank right now. This is the old Olaf, the Gore Drinker Olaf, as Lotus goes aggressive one more time in the bot lane, but now it's eating so much damage back, and what an arrow from Resilient to turn that around.
These arrows, I think I was only really upset with one arrow as it went just a little short in the mid lane, but Resilient has been really, really good with these long range arrows, and every single time I see one, I'm like, oh no, it's gonna hit somebody. They thought they were gonna win, and Resilient is just here to ruin their fun. This has just been such a very good performance from Resilient here on Ashe.
It's like he's not even playing on his screen. He's just watching Nightsaw and waiting for Lotus to go aggressive one after another. Lotus this time does have a flash for the next play, so might be able to avoid some of that damage, but suddenly side laning against the Victor just isn't going that well.
Yeah, and to really... Oh, we might have a bit of a fight.
This would be a little bit awkward, but Ragnarok does get burned. Chasing down Resilient isn't working out too well right now, and these two frontliners are going to have to get their way out Good Nature's Grasp does manage to disengage for just a little while, but now Cosmic Remix can actually find the re-engage to make anything happen off of that, and several attempts at engagement later, we find ourselves with basically net zero.
Yeah, and this was really... Oh, they might have found the taunt here.
This is terrible. If Linola goes down, it is so bad, but manages to survive on 120 something HP and should be able to lifesteal back up. Arrow connects onto Mantidy, flashes away here. Gambit with the flash forward and the taunt does give the channel over to Mantidy. FF Please gets caught out on the sideline. A big cask separates the members of Flash Engage, and they do manage to find Skarner. All of that for one pick here as Lotus jumps forward. Can't find the final auto though. Knights off flashes to finish that one off. Now will he be finished off himself? Flash forward from Goldshot does take him down. We trade 1-for-1 one more time. A double kill going over to Resilient. And in all of that, with all of those trades in the mid lane, we still go even at the end of all of it.
Yeah, it's just so much being traded back and forth. As we take a look at this replay here, they use so many resources to even just start the fight, and then once the fight happens, it just very quickly falls apart. Misfortune does so much damage. The explosive cast throws them off balance, and now Tristana jumps just a little too far forward. Victor and the volley pick up the kill there, and this is just more Resilient trying to pick up the last couple of kills here because he's very, very good. I want to say shout outs to Resilient for being just a very good ADC player and knowing the right distances to re-engage on a lot of these fights. So this was a very, very well played by him, for sure.
And it's the second time that we're mentioning the positioning of Flash Engage's carries. Something that, honestly, we haven't had that much time to talk about with Cosmic Remix. Goldshot especially not having the greatest positioning right now, isn't going to be having the greatest of times either, and Resilient is going to get yet another kill, and it's just 20 seconds off on Dragon as well. This is going to put Cosmic Remix on Flash Engage on Soul Point.
Yeah, this is definitely something that they want to contest here, especially because with a full Ocean Drake Soul, it will be nearly impossible to kill this Cosmic Remix team, especially because there's not a whole lot of healing reducing items on the side of Flash Engage right now.
4v5. I don't know if this is a good idea, but Cosmic Remix seem to think it is, and Flash Engage are respecting that. That's a big bullet time into a bigger barrel, but no final kills actually found just yet. Linola goes down in the front line as we do trade that for Gambit on the other side of that. Mantidy looks for that final shot and does find the double kill onto Nightsaw. Now the members of Flash Engage are being chased down. Koyoko is looking for it. Does find Loch Ness Unicorn, and the trade does come down with the AD carries. Lotus falls for Resilient. FF, the last one left alive, but the Dragon, long since taken, secured by Cosmic Remix.
And that was actually really well played by Cosmic Remix there. What I really like is that they were able to pressure Flash Engage because they knew that a lot of their tools weren't up. They knew that the Skarner ultimate wasn't up. They knew that the Enchanted Crystal Arrow wasn't up. The only thing they had left were a lot of defensive utility, so they were able to be the ones in control of the driver's seat. There were a lot of initiation tools on the side of Flash Engage that were already used up. So being able to capitalize on the fact that they were the ones in the driver's seat and peel the Dragon out onto their side, forcing Flash Engage to be the ones to engage, is really, really good. Because, like I said, they had no tools left to do so.
Yeah, it was something that looked bad on paper, right? The 4v5 initially, I was like sweating so hard because I was like, oh, Flash Engage, they just win the game here. And it was really good awareness from Cosmic Remix to be able to challenge for that. Now they put themselves at a point where they, as the early game team composition, now have a much later in the game win condition. We've just we'll hit 30 minutes in maybe 30 seconds now, and picks like Linola's on the Olaf are going to start to become less of a factor. Mm-hmm. If that Ocean Soul gets picked up, it changes everything.
Yeah, for sure. And this is also one of the big things about this Gore Drinker pickup is, and I briefly touched on it in the team fight there, but Flash Engage doesn't have a whole lot of anti-healing items. They're sitting on the Bramble Vest, And they're, oh yeah, Bramble Vest. Then they're sitting on an Executioner's Calling, and that's it. So really only 1.5 items here to inflict grievous wounds, and that's really big against a team that's using Gragas and Maokai and Olaf here, especially not Olaf with the Gore Drinker.
And they're starting up the Baron as well. This is not on vision for Flash Engage and hasn't actually been pinged out yet. All of the vision is controlled by the side of Cosmic Remix, and I'm not sure that Flash Engage will be able to contest in time. Now at half HP is the Baron, and nobody can get close to the pit. This is just going to be another couple thousand gold going into the pockets of Cosmic Remix, unanswered by Flash Engage.
Yeah, and this is also just another we mentioned this before. They're now ahead in gold, 7,000 gold now separates these two teams, and they have a very strong split pusher in CX Lotus, and they have the vision control. They have the damage to end it pretty quickly. Like I said, if Cosmic Remix beats them to these objectives, then there's not going to really be an objective for Flash Engage to contest because they just die so quickly with an Olaf, with a Misfortune.
It would be so bad for this Tristana to go down, but Nightsaw is chasing him right now. The flash forward doesn't quite find him. Lotus flashes away one more time, but he does end up falling. That is so huge. That is so much of your side lane gone. And now Victor gets to join up on the flank. Nightsaw victorious will return to his team.
Yeah, and this is now a 5v4. This is the this is the engage that they're looking for, but it doesn't look like they're able to find it.
Unfortunately, we can mold about that arrow later. For right now, it will be. Unfortunately, no engage found by Flash Engage, but a really good cancellation of what was otherwise going to be a devastating Baron play.
Yeah, and this is we kind of talk about this a lot in some of my other streams, in some of my other casts, but you know, when you have a Baron buff, you really want to be pushing it to as many lanes as possible in order to put the most amount of pressure on the enemy's team. And what we saw there, we saw a 4-1, and the reason why it was so important that the Tristana went down there was because she was the sole split pusher. So by removing that level of pressure, they were able to then flank and move in and pressure the mid lane push as well.
We've only got a few more minutes on this Baron, and as one might expect, Cosmic Remix do want to make the most of it, but are struggling to find a minion wave or a lane in which to do so. Instead, choosing to prioritize getting vision on this dragon. We mentioned this dragon is something that would change the game. If FF gets picked off, it's just game over. So wisely done, he does back away. While Nightsaw does get to clear out a little bit of vision with the help of his support. We'll see what this team fight has in store for them, but they're just burning the dragon down right now. We do see the flash in, and they do manage to steal the Drake just barely. Nightsaw gets it. Man Tidy has to flash over the wall now as Lotus is looking for the assassination, but can't find the damage. Nightsaw's full health, but in the middle of 3 members. I'm not sure if he can turn this one around, but make it 4, make it a stun, and you get several kills, a triple kill going over to Cosmic Remix. They don't find the dragon, but they do find the team fight. It is still a very dangerous game.
Yeah, and they're still able to get the Baron here. We are going to take a look at the replay just really quickly here. This was already a dragon that was really well set up by Cosmic Remix here. They had the vision, but they just had to flash over the wall, and that setup did give them the steal that they needed. But God, the damage just wasn't there, and their team was so split up that they couldn't really focus a target. They were able to find Gold Shot, but that's not really a consolation prize you really want. Like getting them off the dragon, maybe getting a kill, sure, but that team fight definitely goes in favor of Cosmic Remix, even though they didn't get the Dragon Soul.
Yeah, and now it just, I want to say, makes it even more important next fight, because next fight, if you are taking a 50-50 like that, if you are letting Victor just slide in and pick up that last hit on the dragon, suddenly you've lost the game. Right now, picking up this inhibitor for them in the mid lane might just be the small edge that they need to keep those two champions out of any sort of business having to do with the dragon. This is going to buy Cosmic Remix map pressure for the next few minutes.
Yeah, and this is exactly what you want to be doing at this stage. Like, you don't need to devote a lot of champions to the mid lane in order to exert pressure. You really only need those super minions to push in your favor. Maybe just show up and kill a couple of the minions on the enemy side and just let the minions push themselves. As, like, you know, we see Tristana constantly going into this top lane, constantly going into a side lane and shoving out the wave as hard and as fast as possible so that they can exert as much pressure onto Flash Engage to keep them inside their base.
Lotus. Well, I mean, we talk about pressure. I'm constantly thinking about this side lane Tristana and how much Lotus can actually do right now. Does have just the QSS, but has had that for a while, and the magic resist really isn't doing too much against Nightsaw, who's just getting a free side lane right now. And the 1-4 seems to be working in the favor of Flash Engage, especially as they find that crucial arrow in the mid lane. Teleport gets channeled. This could be the team fight they're looking for. Good bullet time by Space, but Poco goes down to Nightsaw as Gambit flashes away, preserving his own life. A shutdown does go to Nightsaw, though. And in the back line, we do see Linola wreaking havoc, does find a pick back, but it is a 1-for-2 in favor of Flash Engage around their Nexus.
Yeah, and that's a pretty huge team. Oh, Linola wants more.
Doesn't have Ragnarok. I don't know if that's a kill.
Yeah, that was actually really, really good. What I really want to point out here is that Linola saved. He wasn't able to save Ashe, but he was able to save Victor or Lulu rather, by stunning him exactly at the end of the polymorph. So that was really, really cool. But yeah, Cosmic Remix. That was definitely their fight to lose there, and sadly it did end up happening. This is what Flash Engage needs to be doing in order to get back into this game. Just make sure that they can get the most out of these team fights as possible, and by making sure that they can give up as little as possible. Whether that means getting in for a 1-for-0 and then immediately leaving, just immediately getting out of there. If that's what it means, then they are coming out like for them positive, even though they might be losing a team fight.
Yeah, it's something that is going to have to be played on a knife's edge right now. 1 minute on the Dragon. Baron live at the moment. Vision is controlled by Cosmic Remix. When it comes to that Baron Dragon, not so much. And they're attempting to remedy that just a little bit here. Lotus does end up jumping away as Ragnarok gets burned on the other side of the rift, trying to chase down Resilient. Is Linola, and they do find the kill there, trading over the jungler's life for it. Nightsaw now on the hunt. Does find Man-Tidy. There's a big Shen ultimate in here. Might be able to find a taunt and looks for Man-Tidy. Does end up finding him with the help of Victor. Buster Shot clears out 2 members though, and that gives Lotus time to focus down this front line as nobody can touch this. Tristana jumps forward onto Loch Ness Unicorn and flashes to try and finish it off. One more auto would get him, but Loch Ness just barely has the HP to survive. Unfortunately, will not have the HP to contest Dragon, unlike FF, who is looking for a way back in.
Yeah, he might actually try to contest it here. He did pick up his little turret. I don't know if he'll be able to do it as Tristana is now on the base.
I mean, you've just got to keep FF here, and he really can't go anywhere. He's giving over this ocean, so Loch Ness just goes down to the super minion, trying to stall out Lotus, and now you've got absolutely no Nexus towers left. Resilient is on the hunt, though, on the horse, flashes forward for the slow, and finds the shutdown, which is huge when it comes to this next Dragon fight. Coco looking for FF. Does have Gold Shot in his pocket, but no other damage around here. I don't actually know if they can take down a Skarner, but together, with the power of friendship, anything is possible. FF realizes that, flashes away, almost goes down to the Maokai, but will end up slithering away very low on HP, and finally, the Dragon Soul is here, and it doesn't look like it's going to be contested.
Yeah, I mean, FF Please doing a good job. FF Please and Loch Ness Unicorn doing their best to stall out this game for as long as possible. But it doesn't look like it's going to really amount to too much here. Dragon Soul is now completed, and that is a lot of healing. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, even if Gold Shot dies there, it is so ridiculously worth it. This Dragon Soul is the thing that will win you the game, and now Cosmic Remix, they get to move right out of Baron.
Yeah, this is just, I think this might be just the nail in the coffin if Flash Engage is not able to properly respond to this, but it's already so low. It's below half HP. It's down to 10%. Yeah, that's going to be
no contest. And Coco is still hanging out in their jungle. Lotus might be the sacrifice here as he does get hit by the stun. Not hit by the slow, but FF does end up picking up that kill with this smite. So you do lose one, you do have Ocean Soul, and I wonder, honestly, if Cosmic Remix choose to take this fight right now, given the amount of sustain they have. It's not impossible to do. What they certainly will do right now, though, is take the inhibitor.
Yeah, I mean, I think they just push this to the win. I mean, they have Baron, they have Ocean, they have Dragon Soul.
Oh,
now
Night
they might have a
so
Night Soul
dead.
as
That's
well.
a huge Zhonya's to buy time, but he eats the bullet time on the back end. Gambit tries to taunt him up, and actually nobody can collapse onto Nightsaw for the moment as much as people are falling around. FF does go down, and that's two big tanks on both sides, Kokuyo and FF falling. Gambit choosing to end his own life, dashes into 3 members and will go down, and now leaves us with a 3v3 on the back end here. Linola doesn't quite seem to have the reach and can't hit anybody to proc it. But you'll send it sacrificing Gold Shot to save his life in the meantime. It's weird. It seems like Cosmic Remix were about to end the game, but one awkward team fight later, and suddenly there's not really a lot they can do.
Yeah, and this is also why we keep saying, like, push your side lanes, because, you know, if this team fight had happened around that inner turret, maybe they would have been able to gain something out of it. But now they had one awkward team fight around mid. They've taken an inhibitor. There's that Nexus is still there, and you know that now they have to reset, and this game is going to go on longer. And the longer this game goes on, the more opportunities Flash Engage has to get back into this game.
It's just that one team fight away as well. This game is so close right now in a way that it really has no right to be. Cosmic Remix should have either ended this, or Flash Engage should have taken it over. But now when we find ourselves with the Dragon Soul on one side and really great scaling on the other, it's a very, very even game.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, once we get to a certain point in the game, gold stops meaning anything. And especially for this Misfortune who's now full build, like if she gets 10 billion, she can have 10 billion gold. And it still would not mean anything because the items are there. Like, she can sell all of her items and buy something new, but a couple of ultimates trade back and forth.
Yeah, now what matters is exactly what we just saw, is cooldowns. Not having Ragnarok is the valuable thing on the map right now. It's not necessarily getting creeps. Once you hit that status of full build, it is all about what you're expending. Things like Enchanted Crystal or Ragnarok being down are going to be the small inches that make up the next team fight.
Yeah, and those inches are what's going to cost this game if Flash Engage is not careful enough. You do need to fight back. They do need to do something risky, but if they are a little too risky or make an uneducated risk, that could be defeat for them.
Kokuyoko is hanging around the edges right now, taking a lot of the poke, but we got to remember, one of these teams, they've got the Ocean Soul, and with no flash on FF, there's actually no direct engage that can be found by the infamously and accurately named Flash Engage. 1 minute, 55 seconds on Elder, 2 minutes on Baron. I expect those to be the next fights, but honestly, one could bust out at any moment.
Yeah, and really Flash Engage has to be the ones aggressing on these fights, because the longer that Cosmic Remix is outside of combat, the faster that they're healing, which means they can continually aggress onto Cosmic Remix if given enough windows.
FF's flash is up in a few seconds, but he uses the ultimate prematurely to find a pick onto Kokuyo. Now Gambit finds a really nice shadow dash, finds the double taunt, but the fight is on. In the meantime, we do find the single kill onto Loch Ness Unicorn. Nightsaw's on the chase right now, but the super minions are in the base. So you've got to be really careful as to how much you commit here as Flash Engage. You find Lotus, though, and just blow him up. So, I mean, take the free picks while you can, my man.
Yeah, I mean, that was a really, really good pick. And having Skarner at this stage of the game, especially with how much wave clear he has, like, this is a really, really good for them, because now they can push into some of these lanes where turrets are still up and be able to secure themselves some gold, because there are still champions on Flash Engage that could still use the gold, could still use the items. So if they are able to get back into this game, this is their avenue.
Actually, no way. This is so crazy to me that Flash Engage are actually able to walk away with some of these fights, are able to find a turret. At the 44-minute mark, they finally crack bot lane outer off the back of a team fight that they just won. With Elder coming up, you've got to imagine that at least would end the game. Nightsaw knows it, though, and does end up burning the teleport just to get first positioning on this objective. I'm honestly not sure if Cosmic Remix could push into this.
Yeah, it's going to be really hard for Flash Engage also to stay there for too long. I think as long as Cosmic Remix just stays here for prolonged and keeps Flash Engage here, those super minions could wreak havoc on the minion waves could wreak havoc on the base here.
Crucially, FF does have the flash available. Did not expend it last fight. Lotus, though, he wants to play the side lane game, goes toe-to-toe with Gambit and takes him down. All you have to do right now is keep the members of Flash engaged here. Even if FF finds this hook, even if he finds this kill, the game is being ended by Tristana in the base, and as we pan over to it, it is Lotus who ends the game for Cosmic Remix.
Yeah, that is just such a kind of uneventful ending to a game, but very, very well played regardless. Cosmic Remix, CX Lotus doing such a great job, like being able to finish off that last person in the way, being able to find that final kill. And we take a look at those damage graphs. Oh my lord. Victor. Yeah.
We both see it and go, the humanity, and it sucks that you can put up that much damage and still lose the game. But
yeah,
I mean, the macro here from Cosmic Remix was great. Even if it suffered throughout one Baron, throughout two Barons, throughout an entire Ocean Soul, and everything leading up to that, they still managed to have that last great macro call that won them the game, and it was recognizing that side lane Tristana that couldn't actually go up against Nightsaw now was free.
Yeah, and that's kind of what you want to see out of like a split pushing Tristana like that. Like once you have a window, and especially the window was nearly wide open too, because Flash Engage was almost completely devoted to that dragon fight. And I think they were suspecting Cosmic Remix to be there too, because they were like, okay, we need to get here first. We need to fight this, because if they fight it and win, then they can beat us in the next team fight, or maybe even close the game. But the second that there was an opening, CX Lotus was like, okay, sure, I'm just going to end the game. There's only been me and the Shen there's only the Shen in between me and the Nexus, and I can definitely outdamage Shen, and, you know, we saw him do it.
All of us were looking towards the next team fight here. Lotus, he was looking at that Nexus going, you're mine, baby. Finds the kill, finds the Nexus, ends the game. That was surprisingly close, though, given how explosive we were expecting the game to be, with that either get ahead early or Flash Engage clearly outscaling. Both of those things still were true, and we had a 45-minute nail biter. So going into game 2, I can't wait for more of the same, honestly. We'll see you guys in just a few minutes, as we will get back into Cosmic Remix versus Flash Engage after giving these teams a chance to take a breather and honestly get some water ourselves. We'll be back with the rematch of the century in just a few minutes. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Cosmic Remix versus Flash Engage. We are once again taken to the pro draft with myself, Dia, as well as Shinkari to guide you through Cosmic Remix. Sitting on first pick right now, have taken away the infamous Seraphine, Galio, and the ever-busted Mundo.
Yeah, Mundo has been seeing a whole lot of play recently, but especially by FF Please. I mean, he's just been playing so much of it, just been jamming it over and over again. The last 9 out of his 10 last games have all been Mundo, and he's been playing 58 games with a 55% win rate on Mundo this season. So to say that is a comfort pick is a bit of a an understatement.
Certainly. And you know what? You can be very comfortable on Mundo. The other thing that we're expecting, though, is that Mantide is very comfortable on Jhin.
Yeah, that is also another pick. Man, Tidy, so many games, 114 games with a 54% win rate in season 10, 162 games with 62% win rate on season 9. Like that is a lot of games, all over 50% win rate. This is a champion that also fits very well into this current meta. And you know, this is just a very safe pick regardless, and then is a comfort pick as well. So very, very good job. Very, very
I am
good.
surprised to see the response, however, of Ashe and Nami, clearly feeling like Resilient performed well on the Ashe, which he did. Coupling that with a Nami seems like an odd first couple picks to take.
Yeah, this seems to be a bit of a comfort pick for Matt OD42, who's the new support player for Flash Engage. They just subbed him into this game. He does play a lot of enchanters and has been favoring Nami last season as well as this season as well. And considering that how Moonstone Renewer and Staff of Flowing Waters is still very good, and that Nami is a pretty good pickup here.
Is that going to be the final lock-in in response to a Scion, which is assumed to be going top? Once again, Flash Engage are playing this relatively safe right now. They don't have any lane that I would look at and go, you know what, that's going to carry the game. And it's something that they're going to need to show up once again. Victor is still available to them, and they might just take that Rise Kassadin ban, and we have a very similar draft.
Yeah, and I think this is a lot of what we see from Flash Engage. They put a lot of tools to help make sure that Nightsaw can get ahead here. Like we saw Resilient play very, very well in the previous game, but you know, we saw the damage charts and we saw a lot of the KDA at the end of the game, and wow, Nightsaw really, really went ham that game.
Let's see if he can do it this time, maybe into a different matchup. They could take away the Tristana here and keep that from being a problem, and instead it will be that Kassadin one more time taken away. Hecarim, the insta-ban, leaves Flash Engage with their jungle pick, we can only assume.
Yeah, and I honestly think that they go for just Skarner again. I mean, Skarner is such just an easy pick to pick up. There's not a whole lot of complicated things to go along with him, and he builds very well with the Turbo Chem tank. Oh, whoa, excuse me. Oh, well,
everything's fine. What's happening?
Yeah, this is what happens. This is what happens when you drink a lot of water. Yeah, you just get, you get burpy. Excuse me.
I cannot even pretend to understand, but Lee Sin is locked in, so is Rek'Sai, and LeBlanc's the final lock-in for Cosmic Remix. This is another one of those comps that looks very, very early aggressive for Cosmic Remix, but now we've got some answers on Flash Engage. Lee Sin is a champion you don't see too often.
Yeah, Lee Sin did receive a little bit of a buff in the previous patch. They did buff his Sonic Wave. I believe it was the damage got a little bit of a buff as well. And also with the changes to the jungle, we do see a lot, like I spoke of in the previous game. There's a lot less gold, a lot less experience in these jungle camps. So doing full clears is not as valuable as maybe clearing a little bit and then going to gank the lanes. And Rek'Sai and Lee Sin are both known for doing that. And also Ornn being picked up in the top lane for the other sub that Flash Engage is bringing in, the infamously named Lewd Dragon Lolly.
We can just call him LDL. I'm honestly fine with it. I consent to it. I'm sure everybody in chat does. But he will be piloting the Ornn, which makes this a great adaptation in the draft to do what Flash Engage have shown us that they're best at: neutralization.
Yeah, and I also want to point out that this is also just a similar team comp of being able to capitalize in the late game. Ornn is a champion that begins his adventure of usefulness at level 6 and then continues to get even more powerful at level 13 once he is finally able to upgrade his mythic item and then start to be able to upgrade his team's mythic items as well. And not to mention that, a lot of the reasons why we saw Kaisa emerge to being very powerful in the early patches is that she scales very well with just straight raw stats, and the mythic items were giving her a lot of those stats. Ornn is also a similar champion that scales really well with raw stats. And these mythic items do give him a lot of bonus stats as well as his passive, which gives him bonus resistances from those tanky items. So Ornn is going to be able to hit a very powerful spike at 6 with his Ornhorn, and then later with his mythic item, and then at level 13 once he's able to start upgrading those items as well.
Yeah, it's sort of spike after spike after spike for Ornn, which is really nice if you are playing in the top lane. But when we look across the rest of the map, not everyone else is so lucky. We did see Resilient play really well, but we talked about wanting to see Nightsaw be able to pop off and carry a game. On something like Set, I don't see that as nearly as much of a possibility.
Yeah, Nightsaw, it's kind of upsetting to see him on set. Like, maybe if he goes pure damage, then maybe we'll see some
Imagine.
carrying from him. But like, I don't know. When I see a pure damage set and no tank items whatsoever, like he's a bruiser. He's a brawler. He wants to be in melee range. He wants to be able to survive pretty much as long as possible. But if he's just walking in there, dying, and then maybe putting up a punch shield, then maybe he's not doing his goal as well as he could.
It does seem like Flash and Gage have sort of refined their composition a little bit, though, in that way where, yes, we don't see that late game AP threat, but we do see still a lot of what we saw from them last game, which is level 6 pop-off potential. This is a crazy good team fighting composition when we hit those level 6s, when we hit those fights around objectives. That's where Flash and Gage seem to be strong right now. And on the other side of that, Cosmic Remix, what do they want to do?
I think that they're going to be looking for more skirmishes, very little engagements. While they do have somewhat of a decent 5v5 team comp, I definitely look to see Sion and Rek'Sai and LeBlanc in the top side, or Rek'Sai and Jin and Leona in the bot, and just trying to having that LeBlanc kind of float around for just these smaller skirmishes. Obviously, LeBlanc doesn't have like a gigantic team fighting ultimate, and Sion sometimes is an initiator tool, and Rek'Sai also not a huge like ultimate to be used during a huge game changing team fight changing ultimate, but they do have a lot of damage. So being able to fight these smaller fights and gain objectives by maybe outmanning in some cases just because they just killed someone is what they're going to be looking for these neutral objectives.
And Cosmic Remakes are only going to be enabled in that with the way that they played in game one. You'll notice if you're just tuning in right now that they are up a game. And in that game, it was very close. It was a 45-minute brawl. But Cosmic Remakes played the Vision game like they were on some crazy stuff. They were out warning, out clearing wards across the map against Flash and Gage. And if you're doing that on people like Rek'Sai and LeBlanc, if you want to have a floater assassin solo laner, it can be really, really deadly. So keep an eye on that early jungle to see where Vision is being placed, if it's being responded to by Flash and Gage, because if it's not Cosmic Remix, they can really look to make out like bandits in this game too, maybe even take the series. But what actually comes in the game, we can only find out one way, and that is by getting into it. So we're going to throw it to a very short break here on Style Esports before we would jump right back into Cosmic Remix and Flash and Gage on the Rift. We return to the Rift, Shinkari. It's me, it's me, Dia, joined by Shinkari. I messed that up. I wanted to introduce you. I didn't want to forget to say your name, but now we have got to get going because it seems like Flash Engage this time do have a level 1 plan as opposed to that 5-man spread. We'll see if Mantidy finds himself in a little bit of trouble. Doesn't actually spot anyone just yet. This is some crazy pathing right here. And Jin, oh no, you found yourself in a sticky situation. Does burn the Flash to get away, but it's a very easy advantage picked up for the bot lane.
Yeah, that is a tool that Jin absolutely needs in order to stay alive, especially against a Lee Sin going into these early levels. Not having Flash on a character that doesn't have any sort of mobility is absolutely gigantic. So he's going to have to play around these traps, hug Leona like she's going to be his mom for the next probably 3 to 4 minutes.
Leona mom will protect him, I'm sure. Especially, once this lane hits its level 2, which we expect to happen really fast because Leona loves to push for that early level 2. It is still something that can be threatening. We're just going to have to keep our eyes on FF to see if he makes any crazy rotations. If you're just tuning in, we do have Cosmic Remix up a single game, and 2 substitutions have been made from Flash Engage, one in the top lane, one in the support position, as Nightsaw is not really going to have any problem in this mid lane. They clear out waves. Gentleman's agreement. We all farm.
Looks like they already broke the gentleman's agreement. CX Lotus already harassing back and forth. So, man, don't you just hate it when you have a gentleman's agreement and then one person just destroys that gentleman's agreement?
Just decide not to be a gentleman. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like when you accidentally SD in Super Smash Brothers and they decide to not homie stalk you. Like, come on, man.
Is disrespectful. I don't know if we can stand for that on our Rift. As right now, taking pains to avoid the vision. FF does still get spotted out as he rotates up to the top side. Going for just that buff, maybe into gank right now. Walking his way up towards top lane. Nice trade happens in the mid lane for Lotus. Lee Sin's showing up as Lolly takes a little bit of a fight here. We still have Flash available for the Scion, and Sonic Wave will miss.
Yeah, this is the kind of power that Lee Sin does press early. So this is a huge amount. He's already grabbed 2 flashes across the map.
Now gets to walk in.
Similar gank in the bottom side.
Yeah, it's another buff gank. This time Resilient flashes forward and not even burning the flash. Linola just tunnels forward, picks up the first blood. That made it look easy, honestly.
Yeah, Linola just plays really well on some of these pretty gank-heavy champions. We've seen him have success on Hecarim. We saw him have just about the same success on Olaf before. So having him on this Rek'Sai is certainly interesting. I haven't seen a whole lot of Rek'Sai this season. So this is a really pretty spicy pick I'm already excited to see so far.
We're going to see another gank in the mid lane too. Nightsaw, are you going to flash, my man? Right now does have the backup of FF and has the Haymaker as well. Trades some damage onto Lotus, but the Sonic Kick connects. FF takes down a kill. Linola now desperately trying to take one back. Doesn't find it. Nightsaw picks up one of his own. Kill on the jungler and the mid laner right now is going to keep them healthy and happy.
Yeah, that was a very, very well played. Ooh, we might have some scuffle in the top lane as well. Oof. Huh.
We good.
Okay,
we good.
That was really close. I really thought that Ornn was going to kill Scion there. It was like really, really close, but FF Please might be able to do it.
Oh yeah, he's definitely going to be able to do it. It was, interesting flash forward. Does end up actually putting LDL in a little bit of an awkward position. FF needs the safeguard to get away, but turning back onto the farm will be Kokyo. I make it my mission to never learn how to pronounce this. I tried multiple times and I just couldn't.
There's a certain number of K's and there's a certain number of O's, and somewhere in between all of them there's a Y. We just don't know where it is, and we just refuse to perceive where it actually is.
Yeah. Unlucky for this guy.
Unlucky. A little bit of a gold leading out these two teams. 600 gold as we start to get in. Nothing really to write home about, but man, that early gank for Linola there on the mid lane, really, really well played by Nightsaw there. Knew exactly how much damage he could take, and and picking up FF Glees coming in for the support. Very, very well played by them.
Certainly so. Top lane continues to be that fight of the wet noodles, but remember, we said to watch the vision game right now. Dragon is being rotated around by Flash Engage. They want to take this top lane. I think we just see Gyoko down. Might be able to find a kill here. Goes under the tower and does manage to trade it back. 1-for-1 here. And now the Dragon being an option is actually going to be really difficult. Manola pops right back over. Without a top lane, you can't really take this. That Ornn is not going to provide you as much safety, and you do not have the damage.
Yeah, and this is kind of the problem of not picking up like a Skarner or a or an Olaf, the ones that are really good at killing these neutral camps, is that once you get to fighting for these dragons, you're gonna need your whole team in order to do it. And looks like the whole team is looking to clean up after the fact though.
Everybody's got flash or some sort of way to escape that pit. Mantidy burns his own. Lotus, though, might not be so lucky. Is being chased down by the Fists of Fury, but will manage to get away using the distortion as Gyokyo and Lou Dragon go right back at it in the top lane. Dragon, actually, the thing separating these two teams right now is gold is still relatively even, slightly favoring Flash Engage, but an Infernal Drake has been picked up for Cosmic Remix.
Yeah, this is a really, really good play. I think Nightsaw actually ended up maybe suplexing the wrong LeBlanc. I have to go back and watch it again, but it was so weird. I don't know how CX Lotus got away from that. It looked like for sure he was dead.
It certainly did look like that, although lucky him, he was not. Now might be looking to try and take a fight here. Scion ultimate is going to be the Herald of Doom, though. Big knock up onto set, and no time for a haymaker is found there. Lotus picks up a kill. Now looks for a little bit more, retreats back onto the blue buff, and it's a lot of time wasted for Flash Engage and a kill given over.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Cosmic Remix wants in these fights, these little skirmishes, in order to get them a gold lead over Flash Engage and have their damage carry them into these fights where normally Flash Engage would have the advantage, especially in the mid game, and then close it out. So very, very well played by them, especially because they didn't need to really do anything in preparation for that fight either. They just kind of collapsed on a invade from Flash Engage there.
Yeah, they can just make the reactive plays right now, it seems. They have the damage to back it up. Might have the damage to take down this bot laner as well. Lotus is here. Resilient Flash is flash forward as well. Followed up by Lotus, but the chain doesn't quite connect, and now the teleport might be the doom of them all. Nightsaw's looking for some sort of suplex here, but will settle for a gold shot as Aqua Prison actually finds its mark, but Matt will not continue with no backup.
Oh my god. I love having to the directed camera just putting us towards the top lane and watching these two big boys just continue to duke it out, because it's not a tank v tank matchup like normal. Like Scion and Ornn both have some pretty decent base damages, so they're like, it's not a noodle fight up there. They're actually dealing damage to each other.
They're like there's legitimate kill through. We've already seen it once, and we'll call it twice with the trade back from Scion. There is a lot of kill potential in this top lane, especially in the early levels before the items get picked up. Bombi Cinder just taken by Koyoko. I did it.
Yeah, you did it. Good job. Good job.
Thank you.
Good job.
Yay.
Wow. Amazing. I'm impressed.
Thank you.
I'm impressed.
I want a sticker.
I'll get you a sticker.
Yay!
Yeah. All you have to do is just give me your address. I'll make.
I know. Oh no! The man on the internet. Ah! we're trying to gameplay.
Dia needs a sticker, but he needs your help.
It's true. It's true. Let's all bond together.
Yeah. You need your credit card number, the 3 numbers on the back, and the expiry month and year.
You know, for my for Christmas, my girlfriend bought me a bunch of custom-made stickers that are my face, but as Jesus.
Oh, no.
And it is the best gift I have ever received. It is so amazing. I've been giving them to people. I've been putting them on the side of, like, on the telephone poles. It's everywhere. I've got like hundreds of them.
I mean, are telephone poles used for anything else nowadays? Like,
No, only
yeah.
religious propaganda.
I mean, your name is Dia, so you're
That's
one
true.
letter away.
I'm very close. As
Yeah.
Nightsaw is continually getting very close to taking down Lotus. Surprisingly, that's a big haymaker too. Lotus
Yeah.
is not having a fun time in this mid lane.
Yeah, and usually in these melee versus ranged matchups, we usually talk about like how much pressure the ranged is able to put over the melee champion. But as we see Nightsaw just walking underneath the turret, as there might be a little bit of a fight here.
Oh my god, he whips him out from under the tower with the flash suplex, but Kokio has shown up as well. Might find the knockup onto Nightsaw, but doesn't channel it for quite long enough. Haymaker's not off cooldown just yet, and flash forward, thinks he can finish it off. Haymaker comes out though, and Nightsaw manages to escape there, putting down so much pressure in this mid lane. Is now it's Sion that's got to head for the hill, and Shannon Cristolero does go wide though. Knockup finds one. Now the turnaround is going to be, it looks like, enough. That's a lot of damage on Sion right now, and you can't approach Lotus. The shots from the Jhin are coming in, and Mantidy might just find one, but it's Gold Shot that picks it up with the Ignite at the end. Flashes forward for the stun, tries to give one over to his support, but the sustain is so huge here. Met's going to go down under the tower, but get pulled right back in is Linola to give yet another kill over to Nightsaw, and it is 1-for-1 in this mid lane right now.
Oh, no. Oh, okay. Jeez. Oh, man. I have to give it to FF Please and Nightsaw to the beginning of that fight because they lived for a lot longer than they probably... Oh,
my
no.
god. Wait, where'd that guy go? Wait a minute.
Man, so that fight was so long, and it felt like it was just Super Smash Brothers Ultimate, everyone's here. Like, it's just like... You thought at first, like, oh yeah, the fight's over, they're probably gonna peel back. Here comes Nami tidal wave. Here comes, oh yeah, they're just gonna peel away from the from that blue side turret. Oh, here comes Sion ultimate. Like, so many people showed up to that fight, and like Cosmic Nightsaw and FF Please, like surviving for as long as they did, almost felt like cheating as they start to maybe fight around this dragon.
Oh my god, they actually get away with this. Linola should have the tunnel available, but there's too much CC here. You give over your life, you lose one. As long as Sion doesn't go down here, holding my breath as slows do connect. Nice investment of the ultimate from Leona to keep him up there. Cosmic... Oh, there we go. I'm so scared right now. I just really don't want anyone else to die right now. Cosmic Remix, they've found a really good play here. They get the 1-for-1 in the mid lane. They turn onto the dragon, and they didn't have an early lead in dragons before, but this time they could just get that Ocean Soul again.
Yeah, we have an Ocean Soul again on this rift here, and you know, this is really pretty good. I would say better for Flash Engage. They're more of a team fighty comp, so they want to be this regeneration. There might be more of a fight in the mid lane though.
We're just going to get Gold Shot being taken down through Eclipse, through Aftershock. There's nothing he can do. And now Sion gets put under the tower, finds the double, maybe get triple knockup, but still hanging out here, is biding time for the teleport, kicks out from under the turret, and it will be Sion going down, but Lotus is here to try and clean up. FF Please is so close to dying, but nobody can actually get on top of him. Huge face breaker does find two, as now Rek'Sai can't quite clean up a kill either. You give another one. Over 6-10 is the kill score, and you've got nobody here that can really defend this mid lane. Lotus eats the Sonic Shock, and Mantidy is going to be able to clean up a kill on the bot side. What all of this is happening? Nightsaw goes down.
Oh my god. That arrow, once again, Resilient is so good at aiming these arrows that Linola had to use his ultimate in order to dodge it. It still ended up in his death, but that's how good Resilient has been on these Enchanted Crystal arrows, just over and over again. These fights are so crazy, and they're happening so often too. We have more than 1 kill per minute in this game right now. 18 kills in total.
Oh,
As
no,
we see
we might
maybe
just get
another
one
fight happening.
It's so another one. Nightsaw goes for Mantidy and will not be dissuaded. That Stride Breaker is out, and this Jhin is very, very sad. Linola's here for the peel, but we'll see if they can make it work. Suplex gets Nightsaw to a little bit of safety. Haymaker takes him down, though. Gold Shot does get traded here. Resilient in the mid lane could go down. Eats the heal almost, but instead eats a boatload of damage from Lotus.
Yeah, these such a bloodbath happening on the rift right here, and incredibly risky teleport by Nightsaw there. What ended up being a 3v2, they were able to get out for a 1-for-0 there in the bottom lane. So very, very well played by Flash Engage, especially when they decided to turn on to Gold Shot.
We're back into this top lane. Now it's really the wet noodle fight that we'd expected. There's still some kill potential here, residual from those early levels, but honestly, these two guys are not going to kill each other. Who might go down, though, is Mantide, who seems to have... Oh, okay.
Ooh.
I said who seems to have underestimated Nightsaw, and as the words were leaving my mouth, big Jin happened.
So what that actually was is that he used the Gale Force in order to give himself enough distance, and then threw the Jin grenade and was able to find the kill there. So that last inch, especially because he had used his 4th bullet right before the dash as well, so he was able to find that last inch of burst damage in order to find the kill onto the set there. So if you're Nightsaw, you are really upset about that trade.
I mean, you have a total right to be right now. A game that started off with you being 2-0 has turned into you being 4-4, and really the only hope right now that you have is that one of your carries can pick up the slack, because you've got a 4-0 Lee Sin who has honestly struggled to make these skirmishes work in his favor. More often than not, it is this knockdown, drag out, 50-50 business that we're seeing.
Yeah, and we see both teams kind of jockeying for position in this mid lane here, and it looks like we might be having an ARAM. Maybe as no, it looks
Good
like both teams are peeling off. Yeah, it looks like they're just going to be peeling off and maybe looking for the dragon here, as it is spawning up pretty soon.
And it seems like Flash and Gage are the ones with premature positioning on it right now. Cosmic Remix don't have that vision that we're used to seeing them collect before the objective, so might not actually have the means to contest this unless they find a skirmish. FF might look for a 1v1 duel. Rek'Sai actually having the edge in the 1v1.
Yeah. Once again, a lot of their time spent warding objectives was spent for that Rift Herald up in the top lane. So it looks like they might just have to go into this fight blind.
Might trade it, though.
Flash and Gate just started the fight.
We do have the face check from Sion. Jin channels the ultimate, but the dragon is already gone. Do you fight this afterwards? It seems like the answer is yes. You at least give Gold Shot over, but in the backline, Resilient just gets one shot. Lotus needs the backup right now, goes invisible, and in the meantime, Nightsaw is trying desperately to keep himself relevant right now. Great knockup keeps LDL from channeling the second part of the ultimate, but FF finds his way into the backline. It's a triple kill at the end of that and turns the fight around for Flash and Gage.
Wow, just an amazing round of fighting back and forth. What my favorite thing to do is always interrupting Orinhorn just in the middle of it so that they don't get the knockup, but they still become brittle. So that's why that knockup was still very, very long for the Ornn, which gave FF Please just enough time to kind of reevaluate his engage and come back when everyone was already pretty low. The find onto Resilient was huge, though, and being able to turn that fight into Cosmic Remix's favor before Flash and Gage was able to make it theirs.
Mid lane towers are traded, but there's a teleport on the side here. I'm not sure how much the Sion is going to be able to do here as the knockup does miss. It seems like they will get one pick in response to Shanna. Crystal Arrow could find one here. Does actually land, but won't change the outcome.
Yeah, Enchanted Crystal Arrow, once again. Resilient is really good at aiming them. I don't know if the decision to use the ultimate there was 100% necessary, but once again, always lands on important targets.
I don't think FF knows how many people are at his jungle right now. He wants to contest for his red buff, but you don't get to do that. Prowler's Claw actually takes Lenola into the jaws of doom. Good knockup over the wall. Will keep everybody safe, as now, even though you can't see all of them, you know everyone is there.
Yeah. I mean, the only person that's now accounted for is Jin, but it was weird to me to see the whole team just be like, yeah, guys, let's get in there. They totally don't see us coming. And we see wards on the other side. We see Sion getting a blind knockup onto Nami. Like, they're like, okay, maybe we should just let them have the red buff and we'll just move on.
And it works out. Like, it's still a relatively even game, and if you're going to give things over as Flash and Gage, you can afford to. You're the ones with, if anything, the gold advantage.
Yeah, and at this stage, there's not a whole lot to fight over, so maybe they were just looking for, like, a team fight, perhaps. like, oh, they're all in our jungle, like maybe we can fight them. But once they knew that they had vision over the wall, they're like, okay, let's just give this up. Um, yeah, but we do see, oh, that's some very greedy pathing in the bot lane for this Jhin here. Maybe we'll see a fight down there.
That should be a kill. Mantidy's not going to be long here. Gale Force is available, but isn't going to save his life. His teleport down from Lotus looks for oh my god, resilient.
Yeah, that's a huge amount of damage, but an easy pickup for Flash Engage here as they just are going to back away CX Lotus. Oh no, that's just his twin. That's whatever. That's going to be an easy 1-for-0. They didn't even spend a whole lot of resources either way, but they might have found out Linola as well.
Definitely have. Sonic is going to take FF over the wall, and Linola should go down here. Finds the final kick onto the Rek'Sai as they're leaving, and few misplays from Cosmic Remix around that vision that we had praised them for in Game 1 has really cost them this game, maybe even costing them now in that tangible Tier 2 mid lane tower.
Yeah, Nightsaw looking for the last bits of damage here, but with FF Please walking away, he's not going to be able to tank it up for very much longer, so it looks like they're just going to back away here. But still being able to pick up these turrets is very, very important for them. That was the first turret that Flash Engage has picked up this game, so being able to open up the jungle just a little bit more and having safer entrances and exits from Cosmic Remix's jungle means that they should be able to fight and find these picks like they did onto Mantidy in the bot lane just a little easier.
Big fan of this reset from Flash Engage as well. We got 36 seconds on the next dragon, and Ocean Soul, as always, is a win condition for any team. With that reset, they should be able to claim this for themselves. In Cosmic Remix, I'd honestly be surprised if they contest.
Oh my gosh, Nightsaw is going so deep for this.
Chain, Lotus. Just chain. Just walk away. What?
How are you gonna get cyberbullied by a set? Just walk away.
Exactly. I mean, that's at least the theory here. Stridebreaker is making it a little bit more difficult, but it's going to be even harder now that you don't have a LeBlanc anywhere near this dragon. Both top laners up in top lane, only one having teleport. LDL, the one in possession of that particular summoner. So Flash Engage just decided to take this dragon with essentially no contest.
Yeah, they weren't really in a position to try to contest it. Like you said, LeBlanc was pretty far away in the tower. They have an Ashe, they have Smite, and their top laner doesn't have teleport. So it's going to be a lot harder for them to contest it, especially in what would have been a 3v5. As Linola looks to try to fight LDL here.
No, very misinformed right there. And Shanna Cristolero doesn't actually go wide, does end up stunning Sion for just a second here, but Linola is the target. Gold Shot emerges just a little bit too late and won't actually be able to save his jungler. Now, just to play the peel back game, Mantidy just now arriving, can't find the kill here. Lotus gets suplexed into the back line. Jhin ultimate gets channeled to try and find the shots onto FF, and he does find the snipe in the back line. Now, Koyoko is going to be taken down slowly but surely as Gold Shot goes down as well. Lotus on the side doesn't have a whole lot to say. Never mind, he takes out Matt, but does trade his life back for it. Mantidy, you can do it, my friend. But no, the ace comes in as the final punch lands from Nightsaw.
Yeah, and I wonder if they're just going to go for Baron here. They do have some damage. Their tank is still pretty healthy, and wow, they're going for it.
I see no reason why not to. This seems like an indomitable team at this stage, and they've got more than enough health bars with the way that their mid laner is, well, a tank.
Yeah. And seeing that, Stridebreaker in a Dead Man's Plate does give you a decent chunk of resistances, this should also go down. Yeah, all 5 members are up now, so they should get this buff onto all 5 members of Flash Engage, so this is a huge pickup for them. Let's see how they use it.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if they can use it better than Cosmic Remix did last game, because the time we saw Baron picked up last time, it essentially really didn't do much. It got you a little bit of pressure, ended up opening up the mid lane inhibitor, but you lost your side laner, you found out you couldn't actually take 1v1s. At this point in the game, it seems like Nightsaw is more than confident taking 1v1s. There isn't actually a problem here. If anything, Flash Engage are the ones with the stronger side lanes.
And it's also interesting to note that Ornn has now upgraded one of his team's items. He chose to upgrade Night Saw's Stride Breaker here. Definitely an interesting choice. I basically, with how Flash Engage has been playing, I would have at least thought that they would upgrade the Kraken Slayer first, since so much stuff has been put onto protecting Resilient in some of these fights.
They know who that carry is. We know they know, and we doubted it, but I don't think we can for too much longer. Remember, this is a team fight composition, so they got double tanks. They get to walk this one straight down the mid lane, even if their Ornn is side laning. Gold Shot takes a bit of damage, but does end up ultimately letting that inhibitor tower and now inhibitor fall. We'll see if they can make this up on the back end.
You have a TP from LeBlanc, though.
Tokyo is on the flank here. Eats the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Another teleport gets channeled to bring Flash Engage together as 5 members. Matt flashes away from LeBlanc, but now the front line is the place where it is happening. Nightsaw gets knocked up, still has the Haymaker, channels it onto 3 members, and takes them all to sub 50% HP. Will fall down for his sins, though, as the shutdown goes over to Linola, soon to be dead. Very, very close. FF should be able to find this, but Prowler's Claw almost takes him down. The kills still going very, very much in favor of Flash Engage, though. FF does end up falling. Lotus still unpunished here as Mantidy's looking for it. Finds Matt on the back end, and we are still playing a very, very close game here. LDL gets rooted up. Can they shoot through the Ornn? Nobody knows. Mantidy certainly is going to have to respect him at the very least, but now with 4 members, you should have the lockdown necessary, even if Gold Shot will die.
Yeah, and ultimately a pretty... Even though they were able to pick up 2 turrets and an inhibitor here, especially a Nexus turret, that's huge. It's hard for me to say that Flash Engage won that fight. They gave up so much and gained almost so little. If anything, this is the Cosmic Remix showing signs of life, even though they are still behind by 5,000 gold. And if anything can tell you that Cosmic Remix still has a way into this game, it should be that team fight. Like, they did such a good job of peeling backwards, knowing when they were real low, immediately leaving the fight, and CX Lotus might be caught out here.
They've only got so far to go. Enchanted Crystal Arrow will miss, and that's one less tool, but this is feeling so much less like a game of tools this time around, and so much more like a game of beef. This is just Flash Engage being able to run down Cosmic Remix, and with only 1 Nexus tower available to them, like I said, they can only retreat so much now.
Yeah, and now both teams are now jockeying around this Dragon Pit here. This is close to Soul Point for both of them, so this is definitely very valuable. CX Lotus getting a decent flank position here, but it looks like the team fight might be starting.
They get spotted. Nice root comes down onto LDL, but the Ornn Horn very much available, very potent in these types of situations where you've got to find an engage, but can't really find an angle. If we keep playing these poke wars, though, eventually Cosmic Remix will just lose. They're the ones with the pressure. They're the ones on a clock right here. Gold Shot looks for the stun, finds it on the side here, gets kicked back into the team, and now this could be the collapse. Solar Flare finds no one as Nightsaw takes himself back into the back line. Can't quite finish off Mantidy, but has forced him out of the fight. Meantime, Gold Shot has survived in the meantime. FF does pick up that single kill. A double knockup comes in and doesn't really feel like Cosmic Remix have a lot to save right now. The damage just isn't there. Can Lotus lay it down? Finds the chains onto FF and does pick up the kill. You might be able to take out Nightsaw here as the last member standing, but your base, man, your base is under fire right now. You can't even support Mantidy. Nightsaw channels the Haymaker and almost takes him down. This is so on edge, falls forward, but the ace finally gets finished off by the very same Mantidy that we had mentioned, now turning his eyes onto the dragon.
Yeah, this is once again Cosmic Remix. Even though they lost that turret and had to have CX Lotus back, this is them showing signs of life. Like, this is them saying, you guys might be ahead in gold, but we're going to win these team fights. And you know, it was sort of, once again, Flash Engage is still getting stuff out of these engagements here. Like, we saw that they immediately had to back in order to keep their base from dying there. We saw 2 to 3 super minions. Not exactly sure what the exact number was there, but 2 to 3 super minions in the base. They had to immediately peel backwards once they had won the fight and go back in there. Like, This is the point we're trying to make about Cosmic Remix, especially when you have an inhibitor open like this. You can't dilly-dally. You gotta know when to go in and then commit, because the longer you stay there, the longer that fight goes on, the more you're gonna have to, the more pressure that these super minions are going to exert on your base.
And no, like now you don't have any Nexus towers available to you. If you're looking at this game and thinking, well, they've just swapped sides because this is the exact same situation we saw before. No, they haven't. These are exactly the same teams on the same sides. Nightson now finds the chase down onto Goldshot. If you lose a pick here, you could just lose the game. Mantidy's got to take chunks out of them. Well, he can. Goldshot has lived for so long. That's a huge haymaker, though, to finish off the necessary targets. And FF takes out Mantidy in the backline. You have no damage left to you. Lotus cannot get in the fight, and Flash Engage may have just won themselves game 2 here. They're taking down the tank, and he's got nothing to do as the CC is much too long. Inhibitor is not long for the world. Gets suplexed in just for the memes, and Lotus is well and truly zoned out. Flash Engage should have won game 2 right here. FF, playing with fire, will not get burned. Instead, he will take his team to match point here at Style Esports Season 6.
What a very good game 2, and this is almost exactly the same as what we saw last week. Cosmic wins game 1 pretty handily. FE turns around and they win game 2 pretty well. And now, if scripture dictates, if the prophecy is to be retold, Cosmic wins game 3. But you know, this is the rematch of the century.
It is.
This is the rematch of the century. Anything is possible. We're taking a look at these damage charts. Look at how much damage Zed did there. And look at how much damage Ornn did. Wow.
I can't believe that Nightsaw still topped the charts on set mid lane.
Oh my god.
That says so much about this guy. He is a monster, just as we expected coming out of game 1. Has repeated that performance in game 2, but on the unlikeliest of champions. And this series is anything if likely. These guys are going head to head, and I can never tell which way a fight is going to go until it is finally over. So to get us into that final game, we will be right back in just a few minutes with the final game of Cosmic Remix versus Flash Engage. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's Dia and Shinkari taking you into Flash Engage versus Cosmic Remix's final game of the night. It is what, Shinkari?
It's the rematch of the
It is
century.
the rematch of the century as we will be getting into the picks and bans. Silas and Maokai taken away, Mundo and Anivia off the table. What could be next?
I mean, I want to see a Jin ban here. I totally want to see, just take it off the table. Don't give it to Man Tidy, but it looks like Jin's just gonna stay on the board and Viego's gonna be banned away. This is something that they don't want to see. FF Please
Oh
being
no.
picking up and Set just immediately being picked up right off the bat.
They know that's a great blind pick. You can't stop them, and you know what? You can, as much as you can flex it. Nightsaw looked crazy, but an even better pick this year round is Seraphine.
Yeah, it was something like, hey, maybe you should ban Jin, and then I remembered, oh yeah, Seraphine is a champion that exists, and when you let her go through, it's just awful. She can flex mid or support. Her ultimate is insane. The amount of damage and sustainability that she has is insane. The fact that she combos so well with Moonstone Renewer and Staff of Flowing Waters, insane. Yeah. Man, it's just whatever Seraphine can, whatever you think Seraphine can do, she does it better than what you think she does. So I'm not looking forward to the Seraphine lane. However, Flash Engage, picking up Lee Sin and Ashe here, some pretty successful picks from the previous game.
That I am really excited for because as much as there are things that we haven't seen yet, they're a little bit of a known quantity as opposed to the Seraphine. There are things that have looked really good. Resilient on the Ashe, Nightsaw, we assume, on the Set, and FF on the Lee Sin have all had their standout moments. And it looks like it will be the Seraphine mid as Cosmic Remix choose to reveal that.
Yeah, Leona is just a very good tank, and being able with Seraphine, you can kind of, like we said, you can flex around whenever you want. But it looks like they want to be taking a more damage heavy jungler if they're looking to pick up a tank in the support line here. So we might see a counter pick for Flash Engage here. They have already banned out the Lulu, so they might also ban out just another support that counters Leona here.
Morgana. There we go. There's Morgana. It makes sense. We all understand where that's coming from. Anybody who's ever played the Leona into Morgana doesn't necessarily want that and would just give even more lane pressure to Resilient, who has been working really well with the mage style supports like the Lulu Morgana that you see taken away. Sion, interestingly, is the ban from Flash Engage, though, not wanting to deal with that. And that's Kha'Zix. Okay.
Yep. And just as I predicted, there is a damage heavy jungler there. Kha'Zix is kind of the heavy damage jungler. Like, he wants to be fighting Lee Sin 1v1 in the jungle, and a lot of the times is going to be getting out just on top just because of his passive damage. Nami being another pick for Flash Engage here. This is another comfort pick for Mado D here, especially with the counter picks taken away for Leona here. So all that's left is their top laner.
You could go for Orin, although why would you? As Darius gets covered and locked in for the love of God. This draft has taken a total left turn.
Right, interesting. Wukong. Okay.
All
right, I'll just take my notes and I worked real hard on these. I researched their champions. I guess I'm just gonna have to just throw them out the window, I guess.
It's not just that. You're gonna throw your expectations about how this game was gonna go completely out the window as well, because these teams, they have a front line and simultaneously they do not have a front line.
Yeah, it's weird because they do have a lot of champions that do want to build some tank items, but they're not like true tanks. Darius is a brawler, Set is a brawler, Lee Sin is an assassin that's going to build into some tanky items later, but isn't an Ornn. It's not a Scion. It's not a Volibear. It's not a Dr. Mundo. It's not a Leona. It's not an Alistar. It's not, I could go off naming tanks all day, but you guys get my point. The Darius wants to deal damage. He wants to stay in this midst of things and scuffle. He doesn't want to peel for Ashe. Peel for Ashe. Darius is going to kill the other person. He doesn't want to peel for Ashe.
No, and on the other side of this, there's certainly a lot of peel, or a lot more appeal, I'll say, for Cosmic Remix that's available to Mantidy on the Aphelios. Yes, it won't be coming from Kha'Zix, and it won't be coming from Wukong. It might not even be coming from Leona, but Seraphine is enough.
Yeah. My gosh, I'm probably gonna harp on the Seraphine pick for too long, but she's my new, like, it doesn't matter what meta or what patch it is, I'm banning Seraphine. It doesn't matter. It's just she just does too much, and I'm so tired. I'm just
I hear you. I hear you. It's the cries of League players everywhere. At least it doesn't send a Tom Catch. That lane is prioritized by specifically Cosmic Remix. We've seen it, and that lane really is the non-interactive one. At least this way, we do get some action hit in the Rift. And honestly, Seraphine might not even be the thing to change the game if FF gets far enough ahead. She could just be another target to be deleted.
Yeah, agreed. And this is, Wukong is definitely a very interesting pick. I love what I'm seeing from Cosmic Remix here, just because there's like a really cool synergies, not just from Seraphine, but from Seraphine and Leona, Seraphine and Wukong. Like the amount of pick potential that they have, as well as some decent team fighting just from Seraphine and Leona, turns this Cosmic Remix comp into something that's very, very flexible and should be a huge danger for Flash Engage here. However, not a whole lot of attack speed champions here, so tanking things like Baron, taking things like Dragon are going to be very hard for them and can only be done if they win a big team fight.
And that's really interesting to note, especially as we do crest that 20-minute mark when we get there, because it's not even an if we will get there. Both these teams have proven that they can outlast even a composition that seems like it is completely going to snowball the game. They can sit there and go, well, it's going to take you an extra 15 minutes. So we'll see where they can get up to. The thing that I'm curious about as well this time around is the side lanes, because this is one time where I don't really see the options there for Cosmic Remix, and I do for Flash Engage.
Yeah, and for me, the side lanes, once again, the bot lane is just more of the same, but like the Darius pick is so interesting, especially blind too. Like usually when we think of like, I'm going to pick a lane bully into the top lane, usually, especially with this meta, I feel like everyone just goes for Renekton, and this Darius pick is so strange to me.
It's certainly alien to a lot of competitive play because he can be played around so smoothly, I want to say, in your composition. It's so easy oftentimes to address a Darius unless they are absolutely bonkers. We'll see if LDL is that absolutely bonkers Darius. And I want to say, as we get into this game, that we should be looking at this team to make early plays or this team to make early plays. But realistically, you guys know the drill. We've gotten into game 3 at this point. You know that both these teams will be looking to skirmish, to get down and dirty in the early game, to see who can come out with that small edge as we approach the mid game, hope to close it out, and then inevitably throw several team fights before doing so, because this is Style Esports Season 6. This is Flash Engage versus Cosmic Remix, and it is the rematch of the century. We will be right back with Game 3. Welcome back to the final match of the night, ladies and gents. It is Style Esports Season 6. It is the rematch of the century. Flash Engage versus Cosmic Remix. And Flash Engage look like they got another spicy level 1 for us. This time, they're looking to find Koyo Koko on the top side of the map. We got enough time to say that one right, but he is going to spot it out prematurely, drop that ward, and get himself out.
Ooh, 10 gold. Let's go.
Ooh, 1/2 Matt right there.
20% of the way to a healing potion. Let's go.
Let me see if... Wait, hold on. Wait. Let me see. This might have been important, actually. Okay, wait. Darius got a little bit of XP as well. Linola is going to find FF. I don't think you get Flash Forest here, but you do get a Dark Harvest stack back on. Nice phase breaker. Does pull Linola back in. And Apprehend gets started as well. Linola could just go down here. First Blood goes over to Nightsaw. Linola still got Flash. What is happening?
Okay, before I said, I don't know about this Darius pick, and even while we were on our break, I was like, I have no idea what's going on here. Like, I don't know what this Darius pick is for. If what we just saw is the point, like they're just looking to double pull, I'm like, I'm here for it. This is it. I am the resident flavor judge of the self-appointed resident flavor judge, and a team comp where you get the double pulls, that's a flavor win.
Yeah, I feel like you're also somebody who would like a Callista Blitzcrank or like a Skarner Thresh composition.
Yeah. Where you grab someone with the ulti. And then you do the lantern. Oh, so cool.
Oh my god, that was so much damage. That was a great level 2 tick from Nightsaw, and Lotus not respecting it is still going to be on what is commonly regarded as the most busted champion in the game right now.
Yeah. Remember, folks out there, if you're watching, ban Seraphine. Just do it. Just do it. Even if I eat my words, put my entire foot in my mouth, and then Seraphine doesn't pop off this game, just trust me.
They're still invading.
Ban Seraphine.
Wow, Nightsaw just forces Linola out of his own jungle right there, and FF wants this. This could be the skirmish we were talking about, as we'll cut back to the top lane for just a moment here, where LDL has taken the bad end of a trade, but still continues with it, stacking all of the bleed onto the monkey.
Yeah, and that's basically how you want these skirmishes to go as Darius, even though you're not getting upfront damage. Ooh.
It's going to be constant. It's going to be absolutely constant, this Facebreaker combination. Kokuyo could burn down here. Doesn't have a pot. This is just, wow, oh my god. They actually find that kill. Nightsaw, though, does get exhausted in the mid lane. Burns the Haymaker a little bit early, but there wasn't really too much to do there. Almost took down Linola for it, but damage wasn't there. And at the end of the day, it will be a 1-for-1.
Yeah, a 1-for-1 across the map is definitely very good for Seraphine, especially since she can prove that she can resist a lot of the damage that Nightsaw has been trying to pressure her with and also come out on top. She is going to be trying to force to stay in lane, though, even though FF Please is trying to force the issue here. So it might be a tower dive.
Okay, no, never mind. It's Seraphine. Seraphine has the sustain to survive this, and it's a flash for flash. Actually, no, FF doesn't even flash there, so it's just a beneficial trade.
Yep. Picking up the flash here and not dying is pretty good for FF Please. I think you take that every day of the week. Especially when the fight was very quickly going to go not in your favor. So definitely very positive for him. Means that he can gank pretty much later, but he might be yanking the bottom lane here. Let's see. He's waiting in the wings.
They've got pressure in bot lane, and the Rotato Potatoes are looking pretty good with Seraphine resetting, but they won't go for the dragon just yet. Instead, Matt is going to eat a little bit more damage before I expect the bot lane to reset as well, and then we might see a fight. Before that, though, we are going to see a gank in the top lane. That Decimate is not going to heal you up too much at this point. LDL forced to flash here. Eats the slow. Flash forward from Linola cleans up the kill, and this Kha'Zix just got rolling.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want to be doing as Kha'Zix, roaming around the map, kind of looking for people by themselves and try to either fight the jungler 1v1 or find these easy ganks as they were able to do in the top lane as more scuffling in the mid lane.
Lotus still has a little bit of a sustain edge, but With all that damage being eaten right there, I don't know if you can stick around to find out, especially since Nightsaw has the flash available. As soon as the cooldowns are back up, Lotus could just die.
Yeah, and this is really actually well played by Nightsaw because since Seraphine backed, she picked up a tier of the goddess, and that's a very good back. But when you usually when someone comes back to a lane, in a lot of cases, they're usually coming back with more offensive
Combat
stats, and
that?
here Seraphine here is just stacking mana.
That level 6 was super scary. Although, with all the mid lane pressure, even if you don't get a kill, you are going to get a dragon. FF picks up the first dragon of the game with a wind dragon being that very same one. Infernal next. So we could get yet another Ocean Soul if the gods are so mightily inclined.
I mean, that would be funny.
Yeah, it would be
That would be funny. How much you want to bet? How much you want to bet it's an Ocean?
It's
50-50,
right? Yeah. Oh, wait,
yeah.
hold on.
Wait.
This is not a 50-50. Resilient actually looks for it, but
Ooh.
Matt on a totally different page flashes for the ignite, which should not result in a kill here. The burn down isn't quite enough, and maybe a little bit on not the best communication terms. Our flash engages bot lane.
Yeah, it seems a little awkward that they would go in there. It seemed like Resilient was fine with just kind of pushing Mantidy out of lane, but we also got that flash as well. But looks like they might want more in this top lane.
Good pull under tower, but LDL can't actually step forward right here. You can't risk getting one shot by the Kazakhs, who does have the serrated Dirk in the inventory.
Yeah, that's just such a huge swing, the serrated Dirk. Just so much damage back and forth. And these are exactly the engages that Darius wants. He doesn't like a whole lot of upfront damage. He just kind of wants to hit you once or twice to apply those bleeds. Oh no.
Oh wait, the flash actually gets FF out.
Yeah, and that was very quickly going to be disastrous for FF Please there. He was taken very low. The charm is very strong on that Seraphine ultimate, and he might not even be able to get us ready here.
Wait, doesn't he have safeguard? Wait, okay, there it is. But you know what? Whatever. He's going to reset and not worry about too much else as Linola is in the top side of jungle. The vision game hasn't really been as strong from Cosmic Remix in this early game so far. Linola has still been playing as if it's there and has been getting away with it because Flash Engage aren't warding their own jungle. But if you look at the map, there isn't any vision placed past the river.
Yeah, and this is kind of what you want when you're playing a champion like Kha'Zix. You want to be able to know where the enemy jungler is and have wards in place to know what routes are safe for you to go in. And, if you're Kha'Zix and you don't have that vision in the enemy jungle, you're just playing guesswork, and that's not what you want to be doing.
Oh, very good Dark Harvest pickup. That's my favorite thing, is to see as a jungler who also enjoys taking Dark Harvest on random champions.
What do you mean random champions?
So sometimes you're like, well, I'm playing a champion that doesn't need to take Dark Harvest, but I will. Mantidy definitely needs to flash there. It's not only the Tidal Wave, but the Enchanted Crystal Arrow were invested to try and find that pick.
Yeah, and those are two very important tools being spent almost a little too early, I might say. There was, when we saw the Tidal Wave, Resilient was not really close to Mantidy there, so this is going to be just a little awkward if the fights turn into Cosmic Remix's favor, as they are pretty close to level 6, and they should be able to get that fight when the level 6 happens.
Fortunately, are invested early enough that they're still going to be up around this dragon, and with a dragon lead for Flash Engagement, small gold lead for them as well, the game's looking pretty good and honestly very well under control for this roster that hasn't let that small snowball that we started talking about for Linola actually get going.
Yeah, and now we see kind of the fruit of the Wukong labors up in the top lane as you see Kha'Zix and Wukong just picking up the Rift Herald.
Nightsaw doesn't get to play the game.
Pickup. Ooh.
Good encore here, but that's not enough. And we will see the Seraphine slowly but surely whittling down as Gold Shot. Also going to be slowly but surely whittled down in a very different and much more aggressive way.
Yeah, Resilient just getting a huge... FF Please getting a huge kick into the enemy team there. Was able to turn around a fight that probably would have been in Gold Shot and Mantidy's favor Very, very well played by them, and very good pickup for CX Lotus here, picking up yet another kill in the mid lane. Ooh,
FF
maybe a
gets
fight in the
rooted
top
here.
lane as well.
LDL, if he goes down here, this is so depressing. You actually aren't allowed to play the game as Darius anymore. If you do that, what's the pick for?
Yeah, this is Darius once again being. I don't want to say once again, but this is Darius just being bullied by this Wukong here, and this is not that great. Wukong going into the mid and even into the later game has a lot more utility.
Okay.
So, ooh.
Well, Enchanted
Resilient.
Crystal Arrow goes wide, so why wouldn't Linola go in? Walks into the tidal wave, unfortunately, tries to turn around for the kill, but Matt doesn't quite go down. Never mind, Gold Shot's under the tower, and the fight continues here. But Gold Shot's got to get himself out, because Night Saw is here and looking to clean up. Base Breaker
Seraphine's
almost
coming.
finds Mantidy, but the Seraphine shield saves him just in time. The heal as well, keeping him up for just a little while longer. Gold Shot should be the sacrificial lamb there, as Cosmic Remix can't quite find the answer back, and Flash Engage. They get away with it once again. They move themselves up to a slightly larger gold lead, finally capping off that 1K, and they have first rotation onto the second dragon of the game.
Yeah, and this is an Infernal Drake. If you can't, it's sadly that you can't stack it, but usually Infernal Drakes are good for teams that are ahead, since percentages like strong base numbers. So with a little bit of a percentage of a bit of additional attack damage and ability power, they should be making trades a lot better as their favor. As you know, we never did have an opportunity to make that bet, but it looks like if we bet on the Ocean Drake, we would have lost. So here is the Earth Soul for this map.
I was definitely going to bet on the Ocean Drake, so I'll give you one bet of win in my books. I don't know what that's worth. We'll figure it out. It'll be a bargaining game. Night Saw though tries to play a bargaining game with his life and does suplex Linola right back into his jungler, so actually ends up coming away the winner there.
Yeah, and what started off as Night Saw actually taking a pretty bad engagement, in my opinion, or getting caught out, you know, ended up with him on top. So yes, hats off to Night Saw. You know, he you know, what
Really
would have been
good
a
coordination with FF.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll see if
Very,
they can
very well.
continue to make that happen, because when you have a set mid, I know that this didn't seem that way last game with the amount of damage he was doing, but the reality is that all things being even, he's not going to be your source of damage. At the same time, Wukong is going to trade his life with Darius in the top lane. Still a beneficial trade for Wukong.
Yeah, I would still say that this is still pretty beneficial for Wukong here. They're both actually equal on gold here. They're both 2 kills, 1 assist, and have 86 CS. So this is actually pretty good for the Wukong to make sure that stuff stays even, because I feel like even if they both kill each other's turrets right now, they were to leave their turrets and go somewhere else, I feel like Wukong is more useful than the Darius.
Absolutely is, and unfortunately, Night Saw not super useful into the Rift Herald right now, although being stopped by the minion wave, Shelly will throw her life away for nothing. Shelly, please! Tidal
Shelly,
wave
no!
catch Lotus here, and Lotus does go down. Seraphine has fallen. I repeat, Seraphine has fallen. Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Also, we can say we can have a funeral for that one. And Resilient having an uncharacteristic move there, mistiming the teleport, but won't cost him anything. Flashes the mastery to let us all know that, well, I mean, it's a fluke.
Yeah, I might have missed, but I'm still the best. You could say he's resilient.
You know what? I'm sure he is. He'll get back up, and you know he'll give it his best go one more time. I actually have a question for you. I've been watching Resilient use this skin over and over again, time and time again. I tell you. Is this the best Ashe skin, or do you prefer Project Ashe?
Ooh. Oh, well, we'll have to wait on that question. It's probably Lou Dragon Lolly is caught out here.
Good Ghost. I think it's a little bit ambitious of Linola to go for that one, and we can continue with this very important debate.
So I actually, all I play is, when I play Ashe, all I pick is Championship Ashe. But Project is really good, though.
It is.
Yeah, I think it might be my favorite. But obviously Resilient likes riding horses, I guess. Maybe he was, in a past life, a horse girl.
It is the horse diff, and in the bot lane, it is the jungle diff, as FF is the one who's actually waiting there in surprise, catches Mantidy, thinking that he's got Resilient on a hook. Hey, that's a double grab, but it just pulls LDL to his death, as This Wukong is running the lane, and it seems like Lotus is running mid lane as well. Nightsaw burns the Haymaker here, but shouldn't find a kill. Wait a minute, turns it around, does take Linola back under his own tower and trades it back with the help of FF, who now is looking for Lotus, gets the kick as well. And what is this? We're trading 1 for 1 for 1 for 1.
Nami might as well have been the person who showed up late to the ooh, what you say SNL skit. Everyone was dead on the floor by the time she got there, and all they did was just shoot each other. 2 for 2 in the mid lane. Certainly very interesting. I think a decent chunk of those kills went on to Seraphine, so putting her ahead to 420. Pew, 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 pew. All she needs is 5 more CS, and she will have the perfect score in League of Legends. I need to make sure that everyone, like, if you're currently watching the stream, if you could in 5 CS do me a favor and just screenshot the 69 420 and just tweet it at me. That'd be super dope. That'd be really, really cool.
What do you think the odds for me? What do you think the odds that Lotus just spites you and gets another kill before that? I could see it.
Like, you know what? I
66?
Oh man, that would bother me. I would be so mad. I would put him on blast on Twitter.
Wait a minute, Lotus.
He's left the lane and they're looking to jockey around Dragon.
They're looking for a fight. This could actually be
20.
Nightsaw is gonna find out that it's not fun to play against Wukong either here, as Haymaker goes completely wide. The suplex looks nice, but doesn't do him a lot of favors. And now Lotus returns to the mid lane at 71 CS. We missed it, unfortunately, and he'll be missing his life as LDL takes him down, has the damage to take down almost Gold Shot as well. Doesn't get the reset on the ultimate, but man, Tidy, it doesn't matter either way. Darius, no, you are going down, my friend. Linola flashing the wall, does manage to survive, but that is the first big swing we've seen in the favor of Cosmic Remix, and it gets turned around completely by Flash Engage. They find the kills themselves, and now they put themselves on Soul Point.
Yeah, this is going to be huge. An Earth Drake shield could mean the difference between life and death, especially in these very short trades that end up being just narrowly in the other person's favor, especially in Set versus Seraphine and Darius versus Wukong. A lot of these trades are very close, and if there is a big shield protecting them for the first bits of that engage, that should just turn in their favor.
17 minutes on the clock right now. We are getting Rift Herald started by 3 separate members of Flash Engage. It should be no contest here. Linola lets them know that he's around. So don't be no disrespecting in my jungle, but they will secure the Rift Herald with, as we say, essentially no contest.
Yeah, this was a good pickup by them in the mid lane here, or in the jungle rather.
Soon to be in the mid lane.
Should be able to, soon to be mid lane, perhaps. As you know, they still don't have a whole lot of turrets in comparison to Cosmic Remix, who's already taken down all the way down to the inhibitor turret here.
So he's looking for the engage. He's going to find the knockups here. This could be big. The Encore does find 2 members. And Man Tidy has got plenty of room to play with. But Nightsaw's right on top of him now with the Face Breaker, is buying them a lot of time, but the suplex in the back line does bring Koyo Coco almost to the brink of death. The flash heal away will save him, and it is a 1-for-1 as Matt falls, and so does Gold Shot. Support for support, and I gotta say, it's looking good for Cosmic Remix right now, who don't have a lot of answers.
Yeah, a 2-for-1 is huge here.
Manola? I literally don't know who win this. Oh my lord. Okay.
Oh, it's so incredibly close, and you know, right there, I just want to notice, we thought that only 2 members had been charmed, but that's just the power of Seraphine, because it extended out towards Matt OD, who then got caught out by Koyo Coco, and then got killed as well. So a 2-for-1 in that team fight. Absolutely insane. And once again, this is the team fighting power that Cosmic Remix has in this game 3 here. Seraphine and Leona and Wukong as well, just giving them so much utility and CC and decent damage to follow up as well going into this fight. So very, very well played by them.
They're really, really killing it, honestly. Although it seems like that was Flash Engage until just moments ago. It's Cosmic Remix that do come away with the fight, and they make it look really, really good. This is the composition coming together with so much space bot for Man Tidy.
Yeah, and we start to see items being completed here. Moonstone Renewer being picked up by Seraphine. And that means even though she's not healing, she might not be able to get off a shield, then heal with her W. She will be able to heal her team just by throwing out spells. And that's something that Seraphine is very good at. Shelly's going to pick up that mid lane turret. And I think Flash Engage might back off of it.
We'll see. Shelly might get the second charge here, or she does. And in the meantime, Goldshot has taken a lot of damage. The Eclipse, though, is going to keep him from being one-shot as LDL is taking the fight in the front line, almost takes down Lotus here, and the fight is continuing on two separate fronts, it seems, as both top laners will go down. Jungler traded as well as FF has fallen. It's a 2-for-2, but Nightsaw is the one that gives them that little bit of an added edge for Flash Engage, taking down the top lane tower.
Yeah, they were even though it was an even 2-for-2 there. Flash Engage was able to pick up 3 turrets, but it looks like they're going to look for more, though.
Nightsaw, oh, if you take him down here, the suplex in, man, Tidy feels so bad right now. No way to escape that one, and unfortunately will fall.
Yeah, that is the one kill that's
one.
Just going to eke them out just a little bit more. Dragon is now spawning in a little less than a minute as we get into what probably is going to be the most important team fight of this whole game, and what might help decide the match is Soul Point is now on the table.
Now remember that last time it was Cosmic Remix who walked away with the win here. Flash Engage with a 3k gold lead right now on Soul Point in 30 seconds are on the verge of getting themselves a big advantage that might just lead them into a win here. They can turn this around. It would be really, really good for them. Nightsaw on the front line. He's looking for it, but this is going to be a patience game right now. Yeah. This isn't like last time with the mid inhibitor.
Yeah, this is definitely something to fight around. There is a wave pushing in Flash Engage's favor currently, but that's not going to be too much. If they go onto the Dragon too early, they could put themselves into a trap, as maybe a fight is starting right now.
LDL starts it. It's a huge encore, though. It finds all 5 members, and so does the knockup from the Wukong. The team fight is looking so clean right now, and LDL just cannot get anything done. A triple kill goes over to Linola, who now is hunting down slowly but surely the members. Nightsaw almost finds the kills, but doesn't quite have the damage, just barely not taking down Goldshot. And this final dragon will be secured by Cosmic Remix instead. FF, though, still alive, is going to force them to pull it out. If he can find this steal, it would be massive, but he is so incredibly low right now. No vision either. Will be the dragon going over to Cosmic Remix, keeping the Soul Point away from Flash Engage.
Yeah, and this is absolutely huge. Keeping the dragon fight, the Soul Point away from Flash Engage, and means that Kha'Zix can continue to hunt these members down and get more and more upgrades for himself, get more kills, get more gold, and continue to wreak havoc on Flash Engage. They won't have that shield, they won't have those additional resistances, so Kha'Zix can continue his work. This is also important because Cosmic Remix are starting to eke themselves forward, and getting themselves additional resistances is pretty big. And, you know, once again, this is just more, this Cosmic Remix is doing a good job of extending out this game to make sure that they can keep fighting.
You gotta not get picked for that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Very well done from Koyokoko to keep himself in a good position right now, which is more than can be said for the team fighting of Flash Engage. It does feel like they're ever so slightly split. They don't know exactly what they want to assign as their front line, their back line. They're trying to do this Deathball comp that isn't really working. Cosmic Remix have a very clear idea. The back line is Lotus and Mantidy. Everybody else, go.
Yep. And it's really hard to run a Deathball comp, especially with so many melee, when you have to deal with a Seraphine ultimate. The biggest thing about the Seraphine ultimate isn't the charm, but more that its range gets extended the more targets it hits. Even if it's your own allies, the range will continue to keep going. And if you have Darius and Lee Sin and Set in the front line, that's 3 targets getting hit with the Seraphine ultimate to continue onto your Nami and your Ashe, like we saw in the previous fight. I'm not sure if whether it was 4 or 5. It was kind of hard to tell within that one moment, but nearly the whole team, I'll say, got hit by that Seraphine ultimate. And that's what was able to turn the fight into their favor because so many other tools were able to follow up on top of that. It's such a safe initiation too.
Yeah, and I don't want to not sing the praises of Koyokoko, who's been finding these knockups in multiple skirmishes now, who's been winning the side lane, even now forcing LDL off of his own wave, and who is looking very, very scary in this game. Is a big part of how Cosmic Remix have been able to stay in a game that it didn't look like they were going to be able to from the 10-minute mark. Now we find ourselves at the 30-minute mark, and it's basically even gold.
Yeah. I mean, only 1,000 gold separates these two teams right now. FF Please looking for a cheeky Q engage onto CX Lotus there, but I'm not going to be able to find it. But yeah, 1,000 gold separates these two teams, and at this stage, that's not a whole lot. And, you know, as we get closer and closer towards, you know, as teams fight around these pits, like, you know, Flash Engage is probably going to be the ones to want to make engagements without Seraphine there as useful as possible, as there might be a fight in the bot lane here.
Koyokoko doesn't quite manage to find that, as Nightsaw is relatively mobile, moves pretty quick, and gets himself to safety, but does force out the ultimate and is going to be able to group up with his team, putting out a lot of map pressure, not only in the side lane, but being able to dip back into this fog of war that Cosmic Remix are continuing to control.
Yeah, and once again, vision is the name of the game. If you are able to get to these objectives first and place down wards and control the vision, you are able to control the team fights as well. Like we said earlier, Kha'Zix really wants this vision control in the early game so that he can find out enemy jungler, and now they want the vision now so that they can properly position around these team fights and make Seraphine ultimates that much better. So, you know, as we start to maybe jockey around Baron and another dragon that's coming up in a little less than a minute, we're going to see more and more vision control continue to irk out.
2K Gold Lead has once again emerged for Flash Engage. We'll see if they can make the most of it around here, as we talked about this in Game 1. Gold is starting to matter less and less. Koyokoko searching once again for that engaged. This is giving me such deja vu, as Lotus is in the exact same position, but this time it is Koyokoko who starts off the fight, looking for Matt, and big solar flare finds 2, and Linola goes on a rampage, taking down the support. FF Please is going to be taken down, deleted off the face of the map, but LDL in the top lane is finding the trade back. So crucially, this inhibitor is being taken down, as there is no chance of contesting this dragon right now. Nightsaw is doing his best, gets the pull in. Resilient is doing a lot of damage, but it's not just going to be quite enough. Linola helps take down that Ashe there, and Waldos gets taken down. Actually, the Haymaker not quite available. Nightsaw's still alive, and he's buying them a lot of time, but look at who's shown up in the top line. It's Koyokoko, completely negating any further split push from LDL, and yes, you trade inhibitor for Dragon. That Dragon, very, very worth it for Cosmic Remix.
Yeah, but these death timers might be long enough, and the reset might be taking too long that Flash Engage or Cosmic Remix might be able to start this dragon here.
I think they will, and I think they'll finish it too. There are 4 members make it, roaming up, trying to stop this, but the Baron's already at half health. Can you take the team fight afterwards? We'll find out. Nightsaw, he's looking to get in here. It's a big tidal wave to find the knockups. FF is in the pit, but can he find the steal? I can't even tell what has happened. Red team has taken Baron Nashor, and it will be Cosmic Remix who walk away with it, but can they survive the team fight? It doesn't look like they can. LVO fight after fight, team fight after team fight is falling into his hands. The triple kill goes over to him. Can he find the quadra here? He almost takes it, but Resilient must just find the final kill here, and he does, leaving them with only 1 Baron left for Cosmic Remix.
That was huge, absolutely gigantic here from Flash Engage, and from Cosmic Remix as well. Picking up the Baron, huge, absolutely incredible. But Lou Dragon Lolly, LDL got the best team fight that he could have possibly gotten. That was amazing. That is the Darius dream right there. He ulted at least 3 people in that fight, put dots on a bunch of people, and also Resilient coming in and FF Please. This was a very, very good call. Even though they lost the Baron, they knew that a lot of the team fight tools that Cosmic Remix had was used on the Dragon fight, and it definitely wasn't available yet. So they were able to contest, able to get them to, even though they lost the Baron, was able to get it off of 4 members. So now it's only on Gold Shot. So now if they want to do a split push, it's going to be a lot harder.
Oh my lord, there's no way actually. There's actually no way. We hit a pause now of all times. I mean, I get it. You want to take a breather, but wow, I cannot wait to hear the reason for this.
Yeah.
Because this game is on a knife's edge. It's 30 minutes in. It's not even the 60-minute mark. It's not even where death timers will determine the game. It is just so close to being crucially decided in anyone's favor. That Baron, though, is keeping them alive and well in the top lane as we are checking in on the map state. Since we've got really no action to talk about, the game's paused.
Yep. A little bit of a connection issue for their support player here. Looks like they're back and ready to get back into this game. That Baron fight, absolutely huge. Swinging the gold. You know, this gold is now exactly even here. Absolutely insane. And now, you know, it's going to be tough to say because both these teams have gotten pretty huge victories back and forth. It's now back to anyone's game. And honestly, I don't know if I could take any more of this pressure.
No, I am super, super scared. What I am really scared of, though, is messing something up. So I want to throw this to a quick technical break to make sure we're all on the same game time so that when these fights come up, we are ready to bring them to you. We'll be right back in just a few seconds as we do sync back up. We'll see you soon. We return from our technical pause, ladies and gents, as you cannot miss a moment of action. Enchanted Crystal Arrow connects, and we're already right back into it. There's teleport channels in the mid lane. The suplex from the side here. The Encore finds multiple members, but it's not quite enough as the Death Ball is in full effect right here. But it's in the favor of Cosmic Remix. This time is Lanola chasing Resilient under the tower. Doesn't get killed instead. Finds the instant ace out of that pause, and we might have just done it in the nick of time because the game might have just ended.
Yeah, that is a huge swing for Cosmic Remix here. They knew Darius was they knew Darius was split pushing, and this is something you don't want to be doing when you're playing a character that isn't taking teleport. Sure, split pushing is great in these types of situations, but you know, if you don't have teleport, you're going to lose so much from split pushing here, and here they are losing so much, and it might even be the game as well.
They might take down LDL, but it doesn't matter at this point. They secure themselves the Nexus. They secure themselves for the second time the 2-1 against Flash Engage.
Wow, a repeat of history. Cosmic Remix taking Game 3 over Flash Engage. A huge, devastating misplay by LDL here, looking to split push, try to get a little bit of good advantage back after maybe losing a team fight mid, but it cost him the game as he spent just a little too long there, and his entire team went down in the 5v4.
It looked really, really good there for a while. The mid game, so convincing for Flash Engage, but it was Cosmic Remix's ability to step back, play their team composition that was around this back to front, that wasn't this Death Ball, eventually resulting in them being able to play the Death Ball just way better than Flash Engage could.
Yeah, and as we take a look at the stats right here, look at that. Koyo Coco, just so much damage on the Wukong, and you have to give it over to him for one thing, shutting down Darius in the early game, and 2, having so much damage in the mid and late game to follow up on a lot of the engages from CX Lotus and Goldshot. incredibly good. Such a great job by him there. And CX Lotus having such great charms as well. Gold Shot getting some good ultimates for his team. And this was such a crazy game.
I'm actually taking stock. Like just taking stock of it right now. If you look down the list of names, everybody here had a standout moment in this series. Everybody picked up the ball and ran with it at some point. Looked like they were going to take the game away with them, and that is the marker of a great best of three. Is when you can look at every single person and go, "You changed that game."
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there was not a person who played out of these 10 players who didn't have like some really cool moments. Resilient. Like I say, that man don't miss. I mean, he doesn't miss. Even at the times that he does miss, it's just like, no, it's because they moved out at the last second. It's fine. I still was gonna hit him anyway. Resilient on the Ashe. Very, very good job. Matt OD, really good job of peeling away for Resilient and half these team fights, playing around his AD carry and hugging him like a good support should. Awesome job. Nightsong, in some of these matchups in lane where he feel like he should have been losing, was winning a lot of them and putting out so much damage. FF Please playing around I could go on forever about all these players, but everyone was doing such a good job that's why this game 3 was on a knife's edge, so close, and it came down to one team fight that ended the game.
I'm so glad we found that pause, because it would have been so crazy if we hadn't been able to keep up with that massive death ball. Again, I want to echo all of your sentiments that this looked really amazing. The individual performances were so there, and it was a pleasure to catch this game alongside you. I have had a great time here at Style Esports, and I want to appreciate you, Shinkari, and of course Tori, for being on production, both these teams, and all of you who have taken the time to tune into Style Esports today. If you want more Style Esports, if you want more of these banging games, be sure to throw us a follow just below so that you can continue to keep up with not just these teams, but all of the other banger teams that we have in this league. We will be right back at you very, very soon as we have a stream as many nights of the week as we can. So hit the follow button, keep up with us, and we'll see you next time.